that cross pretty quickly with, for instance, an op. But the problem is, of course, economy in this map, because there is always that fear of a quick banana rush that can overwhelm a very heavily armed CT defense while you only rush around with Mac 10s and Tech 9s.
Well, take a look at the odds from our partners over at LootBet. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be here on Inferno. Completely 50-50. Despite it being Hellraiser's pick, I have to say I firmly disagree with that. I think Hellraisers definitely have an advantage here on Inferno.
Was that a Marvel joke?
Perhaps.
That nice. Impressed. They went for the double nade on AVEZ. They bought a lot of utility here on AVEZ, and they start off nicely. Long range taps coming in. Now it's got to peek in wide, but it is too late to rotate in. They will shut down the dualies. Of course, the dualies will get annihilated, and it's now all on JR and Kalinka to try and recover this round. Pretty problematic. Naurot is going to get the shot in onto JR, and Kalinka all the way in CT will need to win this 1v3 to try and clutch it out. Doesn't have the defuse kit on him. Does know that Naurot is flanking from behind, but does he expect him to be this close? It does seem so. Wins that duel and is still going to go in to try and possibly get a nice little extra chunk of change in his pocket.
Oh, he's found the headshot. This is possible. Bialy at close range. He's got those two pistols, but Kalinka's done it. Absolutely massive pistol play from Hellraisers. They will pick up the first round. And how on earth did AVEZ let that happen? But there might not be enough time. Just about. Kalinka secures it absent the kit. My word. That was as close as it could have been.
A 4K to open it up, and as you can see, dually suck.
Oh dear. Oh dearie me, Bialy. That is not what you want to be looking for in the one-on-one engagement. They do the spam damage, but Kalinka can just clean it up with the headshots at the end. That is a nightmarish round to lose control of.
Somehow Hellraisers pull it back without a kit as well, and that is especially the part that's the most impressive. They did get the bomb plant in, so they went for the full buy on AVEZ, and that is a pretty solid buy. 3 AKs. They have the rifle advantage in that regards, but they are playing with two players that do not have any armor.
And that potentially is the problem for AVEZ. These SMGs would be able to chew them up, but they want the hero AKs to do the heavy lifting in this round. 4 players stacked in the A bomb site, but AVEZ playing as passively as possible. They don't want to reveal their position in any format whatsoever at the moment, and eventually they are going to start walking towards this A bomb site, making early contact with the AKs, but it is Kai to find the opening kill. Jalem deleted instantly, and Flarich on the repeak has been tagged down heavily as well. Hellraisers need to be much more passive than this.
JR does even it out slightly. Kalinka is going to fall back towards that B site. The rotation's coming in quickly, but the PK spraying as hard as he can does eventually lose the problem, and it's going to be a 3-on-3 situation. PK from Flarich is just going to walk through the smoke. Kalinka gets rid of one, but Flarich shuts him down, and that is the B bomb defended by Hellraise. They managed to secure themselves 2 AKs for their troubles, and that will put AVEZ on an eco.
The MP9s, they initially go awry trying to take contact with the rifles at range, but eventually it's stabilized, and now AVEZ do have to drop down onto the E-code scenario, allowing Hellraisers that 3-0 lead at the start of Inferno. Definitely the start that the CT side were looking for, and if they can get through this one cleanly, they will be in a dream situation economically.
They do have to tend with long-range deagles, so there is always a chance for a frag to come in. And they need to make sure that they keep as many players alive close range. Kylar gets a double, though. What? Executes him. Kalinka towards that banana is going to be there, well, with a quick flank possible, but now it's all on Flarich solo on that A site. If he loses this fight to Kylar, Nah, never mind. He doesn't lose that fight. And JR chimes in as well. They should be able to turn this one around. I'm saying that, but in the meantime, Marcos with that Glock all the way towards T-ramp, T-spawn actually even, might be able to get a quick rotation towards B and get the bomb plant in. If he manages to sneak past Kalinka, which does seem possible here, they will lose K on that A bomb site. And Marcos, he should have a free plant if he hurries up in time.
He's definitely looking at moving in on the B bomb site, and HELLRAISERS, they can allow the plant to go away here. It's going to be a full buy in the next round anyway, so this bonus cash won't make too much of a difference. Marcos might get timing as he crosses over, but I'm not sure he gets spotted out actually there. He will commit to the plant, but he does get timing by Kalinka anyway. 3-0 converted with 3 alive for HELLRAISERS. That is okay against the eco, but it looked very deadly when Kyler found those opening shots. If he's able to replicate that aim with an AK in this round, it's going to be a very dangerous one for HELLRAISERS to fight against.
I definitely think that he should at that point not go I mean, you could of course go for the full clear and everything to make sure that you can get the bomb plant in, but just the extra 800 gold right there would do wonders for the T side. Just rush it down, plant the bomb. You're most certainly not going to get the 3-1 digs. Yes, there's always the chance, but in that case, the bomb plant is more valuable than the possibility.
You're absolutely correct, as it does look like a technical pause from the side of AVEZ coming through at the moment. They haven't invested into this round, which is what indicates to me that it's them who are calling through this technical pause. And with the 3-0 lead, this is HELLRAISERS' first full challenge. They obviously did have quite a hard fight against the 3 AKs in the second round, but this is the first real gun round of the map now. This is where you get to see what AVEZ are going to bring out in terms of tactical executions, and this is where you get to see how well you have prepared for this quarterfinal matchup.
It is going to be a tough one, all things considered. We do have... I still don't think that the odds should be that close to the 50-50 as we saw at the beginning of the map, but this is going to be a tough one still for the side of AVEZ. Don't think they'll be able to pick up an op. Well, they could, but then they'd have no armor behind it. And that means JR with that op should get a nice opening pick, or at least a good solid peek on this AVEZ lineup. This pause is taking a long time, so probably, you know, TeamSpeak. It's always TeamSpeak.
It is traditionally the issue, and it might just be on Marcos' end, as he's the only player not to invest at the moment, but the unpause is going to come through, and AVEZ might just be ready to get round number 4 underway. The first full gun round of second quarterfinal of the day about to begin. Who will claim victory? AVEZ on that T side, desperate to start scoring soon, because you don't want to allow HELLRAISERS a healthy bank of rounds at the beginning of this half.
It is going to be that op duel. Marcos picks it up, and he's gonna try and take the duel with JR, but JR wins it out by peeking deep in mid, getting rid of Bialy. Man advantage for HELLRAISERS, falls back. Nice play coming in from the IGL.
Oh, but the aggression from Kalinka is read brilliantly by Kai, and he decimates the CT rifler in Banana. He'll drop a smoke as well towards CT to bait out the additional smoke from within the site. He's definitely trying to make moves around this B bomb site, and it looks as though Kyler is migrating through second mid to rejoin his team as well. They're going to go for the boost atop the flower pots are HELLRAISER. They have JR in quick rotationary positions, but really they have to find a minimum of 2 kills once this execute comes through.
They have to do this one quickly, though. If they smoke it off on that CT side, there is a solid chance Problem would just go for the random spray. They get distracted by the random spray, won't even check up on the boost, and he might be able to get a kill or 2. in that situation, but the rotation has been called from JR. He's moving towards that B site. The time is ticking down, sorry, so they have to engage right now. And that is the opening kill in the site. However, Problem gets executed by K, who gets his second of the round. Peek out wide. K gets a little bit of damage for his troubles. Is going to peek into Jalen, loses that fight. But eventually it is going to be all on Flarage. 1v2. Can he clutch it out, or is he going to be forced to save this one? He does have a little bit of extra money, but his teammates that dropped have nothing.
He's desperate for a way in at the moment, but the ult from Markov's ringing out, and Kylo's finding the trade. That might just be too much work for Flarich. He needs to get away now. He's thinking there's an ult next to me, but that's going to be blown back quite far due to the bomb blast, and I actually do need to worry about the player in front. He will find the kill and recover the AWP, but AVEZ get the first full gun round of this matchup. Flarich can drop an AWP and buy a rifle, and Jalem can buy as well, so it looks like HELLRAISERS are going to be forcing.
Yeah, but as you can see, the money situation for AVEZ is not that fantastic, because they, of course, only kept one player alive as well. They're going to be playing with a Galil, decent utility, but two players on completely zero money left as well is a dire situation. They're going to go for the quick boost towards Banana, see if they can spot anyone out, but Kai is not giving them the satisfaction of a nice shot. R8? Oh, it never works out, but oh, it's always fun.
Well, we will see. I literally have never seen that pistol get purchased in a pro game before. Kalinka is going to be trying to use it. He just gets trampled at close range. That's what you get. Awful weapon to be trying to bring forward, and more expensive than a deagle as well. So I don't know why any player would ever want to use it. Clearly a top Banana. He's thinking he can just spam with the right click and get that damage through to shred an incoming Banana assault, but it doesn't work out. Both aggressive players get decimated, and now AVEZ, with less than a minute to work with, are going to be closing in on the B-bomb site and looking for another bomb plant.
And in the meantime, towards that A site, we do have Kyla trying to distract the enemies, but there's no one actually on the site to get bamboozled backwards, because they just went for the full stack towards the B-bomb site. This might actually pay off for HELLRAISERS with the push coming in. Unless the call gets made that A is clear and they're going to head out quickly, they get all baited in on the side of HELLRAISERS, and a perfect call coming through from AVEZ. Nice flanking from Kyler to give his team the intel necessary to get the bomb plant.
Yeah, that's the real problem for HELLRAISERS. As soon as Kyler gets into those A apartments, as soon as he jumps off that balcony, he knows there's nobody in the bomb site. No CT side would have allowed him that much map control unless there was just nobody present in the bomb site. So he makes the late round call. AVEZ rotate over to the 3 site, and it looks like HELLRAISERS are just going to have to save these 2 rifles. It looks like there's an AWP over there. They're trying to shoot back towards themselves to put into Problem's hands, but they're really struggling to get it back at this point, and it's just been shot further away. They have no nades or anything to dump to try and recover, so they just have to back off.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that you don't have any nades on you. But, well, Jalem at least got the kill onto Nauro. Ooh, he just spotted out the leg in the end, but manages to stay alive. They'll keep at least 3 armors and 2 M4s into the next round. Yeah, about the R8. The problem with the R8 is, of course, the fact that you have to replace your deagle in your loadout for that R8, so you won't be able to pick up the deagle at all in the entire map, which is problematic. Or, you know, I have seen a couple of players use it in the past. I think I've seen JW get a couple of decent rounds with it, but normally it kind of, you know, it's JW picking it up, and that's pretty much what JW does. No one else plays with, you know, the shotguns like ever. And he always picks those weapons up. It's especially like here in Inferno, where Kalinka is standing right now with the Swag 7. That used to be his little hidey hole. on the stairs.
Well, he's hiding there now, but unfortunately for HELLRAISERS, there's no apartments aggression coming in. Eventually, Norot is going to consider it, and Flowich might now be positioned to deal with his Galil. Free kill found, but that's only one rifle remaining for the CT side. He's swung out, but he can only get one as Marcos trades him out. This is an easy plant in the A-bomb site and should be the fairly solid conversion as well, as JR has no body armor to work with, and Problem on the way in just has a deagle.
Yeah, this is another round loss, unfortunately for HELLRAISERS. They should send JR out to just try and secure one of the AKs that has been dropped towards mid, because, well, he's kind of useless extra fodder right now anyway.
Well, they are trying to charge into mid, trying to fight this forward, but they might just be able to save AKs and run away. That's the best they can hope. There is a defuse kit there if JR wants to get greedy and earn some extra cash for himself, but he decides against it. Problems found himself an M4A4, so economic recovery at the end of the round is not too bad. But HELLRAISERS, they've allowed AVEZ 3 consecutively on the T side. That means that their bank is going to be building, and HR really don't want to deal with a strong AVEZ T side now.
You know, HELLRAISERS, they need to turn this one around, because this is, of course, the map that they have the best shot at. This is an amazing overdog map for them. And so far, AVEZ has not looked like they are worth that. Like, they look a lot better than 20%.
Yeah, 100%. Well, they look a lot better on their T side. That much has to be said, at least so far. I've yet to see how they perform on the CT side of the map, but usually when you see teams with that higher T percentage and a poor win rate, it really does indicate that they are just collapsing on their defensive halves more often than not. So it might be the case for AVEZ that they have to go big at the moment in order to be successful in this map.
I think that one very important key factor, of course, on the T side, if you have in the HLTV score, you see a massive disparity between the between the players. One of them at the top is K by a pretty big margin, and he has been going insane in this banana so far. 9 kills for him, and he definitely is making it his name worth it. He's a complete star player right now. Whereas, to be fair, the two oppers of AVEZ versus HELLRAISERS, oh, Noro gets caught off. But K returns the frag, does get dinked in the process, but at least he has doubled up on his kills so far, and there might be a B execute coming in soon. But yeah, the oppers in Marcos and JR are not the star players of the teams. They are not the Marcelliuses of their squads that we saw in the previous series. They are solid oppers, but not the you know, the god playmakers. They have, for that, AVEZ have K, and he is definitely stepped up, distracting them towards that B side, getting a double up. It will lose his life in the end, but they already secured the A site, and Jalem is just gonna be forced to save that AK.
And it started going wrong now for HELLRAISERS on their pick. AVEZ continuing to take the lead. It is yet another save coming through from Jalem. He knows he can't contest anything with this rifle, and I'm not even sure what HELLRAISERS are going to be able to bring into the next round. Flowich has no money to work with. JR and Kalinka might be able to get decent buys, but it should be pistols and armor supporting this AK, all things considered. If HELLRAISERS keep stretching themselves and forcing, AVEZ are going to have a much easier go at their T side.
Yeah, this looks pretty good for the side of AVEZ. The HELLRAISERS defense, there was one play so far that I've seen that was a little bit, you know, ballsy when JR peeked through mid towards second mid. But that has been pretty much all their strats on the CT side.
Now we have the opportunity to talk about our case partners over at HELLCase, the biggest and most well-known case opening platform that features almost 100 cases, updated case battle, the upgrader, and dozens of giveaways per month. Marcos on the AWP, desperate for an early kill into mid, and he's found the timing on JR as well. Deals the damage, and it is that HELLRAISERS force already starting to be dismantled.
Close range K, and again K wins another duel, gets a tag onto Problem as well, who's falling all the way back towards side. Honestly, K is solo handling that banana completely, and it is terrifying because, well, it was just at the beginning of their T side, and K literally has a lockdown. I mean, if it's the CT side, then you can at least try and dodge K, but this guy is absolutely playing out of his mind to try and take AVEZ to the to the semifinals, and then pushing towards the B side. Bialy chimes in, Flares is dead, and the last man standing, Kalinka, has again an M4, which he's going to try and save, but as you said, they did force up, so they're still broke. They're constantly broke. They just can't buy the weaponry and the utility they need. They need full utility to flush out K and Banana. They need mollies, flashes to burn and nade and blast him out of that banana position.
You're absolutely right. The lack of utility is very much hurting this HELLRAISER CT side. Continuing to force buy just because you can buy the right weapons is not the right call ever, really, at all. Unless you're convinced that your opponents are not going to be anticipating it, you're just not going to get much work done without the right nades. CSGO is not really a game that tilts itself that way unless you're on, you know, the really puggy style maps like Dust 2 or Vertigo, for example. And even then, on those maps, you still need so much utility to get stuff done. Kai, great opening kills in this round. He's going absolutely massive for AVEZ at the moment, and AVEZ are going pretty big as a whole team in this half. Unfortunately for HELLRAISERS, they've made the right call and bought the pistols, but Kalinka's bought a revolver again.
Yeah, the R8 is, let's see if he can make, I mean, he did already win that pistol massively, so that got them 3 rounds pretty much on the board. He can do no wrong. Well, I'm lying. He can do so much wrong. So much wrong.
I have to guess that the only reason he's buying it is because it's accidentally equipped in his inventory before this match, because the Deagle rounds on the T sides are usually such a staple part of every side in the current meta that I can only assume Kalinka was, you know, maybe messing around with it in the last couple of days and forgot to equip his Deagle before this match.
It's because he wants his teammates to buy him Deagle so he doesn't have to buy it himself. Oh, there we go! R8, baby!
Not another one.
Gets the tap onto Naura. Look at the damage, though, from that thing. That's a scout shot to the body.
It is certainly intense, but it can't quite find the impact that perhaps it was looking for. Bialy looking to plant, and Jalem thinking about a sneaky little denial here. He'll actually go for the longer range kill instead, but the AWP does put him to an early grave eventually. Now, Flaric, he looks like he could be considering this, but instead backs away towards T-spawn. Is just going to sit and hide his AK. It's another retake that HELLRAISERS want nothing to do with, and it's a 6th consecutive round on the board for AVEZ.
6 rounds in a row with that saved AK. They'll definitely have a very solid buy on the side of HELLRAISERS with the op on JR. We'll be able to try and duel Marcos because, well, Marcos started off slowly, slightly getting stronger and stronger the longer the match goes. But yeah, it's mainly K that they really need to keep an eye on, who's going completely insane on that T side. Look at that, 12 frags on him, and the only one in this server that has double digits so far.
Kalinka, we're watching the revolver play again, probably just to spite me, as he finds more damage but can't convert anything else. That is a decent round, I guess, from HELLRAISERS. They do economic damage for sure. It's brought into a 1-on-2 at the end, so it's kind of expensive for AVEZ, but they're streaking 6 in a row. HELLRAISERS probably need all 6 rounds in this half if they want to call it a truly strong CT side, as AVEZ on the CT-sided map that is Inferno, you could argue have already done a good job of their T side.
Yeah, they actually have done a pretty good job at the T side. However, HELLRAISERS are slightly more inclined to win more rounds on the T side, so that might be it for them. Kalinka does get the kill onto K. That's a big kill to make, and the nade damage is now up to 49. You know what would work wonders right now? The R8 revolver.
I happen to disagree. JR is holding here on the A site, awaiting that AVEZ aggression. There are still 4 players who are going to collapse into this A bomb site. They just have to move slowly as not to give sound cues, and the problem with that is it allows Jalem to rotate into library and become a part of this A site defense. Marcos aggressing in just as JR backs off the angle, but he can't find the shot. The CT Orpa and Marcos, they both miss, and now there are 3 players locked into this A site defense. Jalem desperate for that kill and finds it onto Kyler. AVEZ with 20 seconds left. I don't think they can go for it.
Well, that was the desperation peak right there from Marcos. Luckily, Bialy will at least get himself a kill. Is going to just jump around the corner to suicide, it seems, because he wants to get at least a little bit of extra cash or not die after the bomb. The round timer is over. However, the money on AVEZ is absolutely gigantic. They have still at least another full solid buy after this round if they would lose it. If they get the bomb plant, maybe even 2 rounds in their favor. JR also finally started waking up a little bit with that op. Has been a little bit drowsy, it seems. I mean, the HELLRAISER squad after the opening first 3 rounds have in general been a little bit drowsy. But K did drop first last round, is down to 4 HP. This is what I was talking about with the utility game. You need that heavy utility in Banana to try and shut him down. And it is working because he does want to stay aggressive every single time. So you just fill that entire Banana with all the weaponry, the utility you have, and you just make sure that their top player does not have a game. He's even swapping towards the op so that because, well, he's so low, so he's just gonna hold anchor points probably and let Marcos rifle himself to victory.
HE nade dumped over the top, only does a little bit of damage onto Kalinka, who drops down and goes aggressive. Somehow finds a miraculous kill while blind. That was way more than I thought he would have accomplished there, and Problem nearly gets caught out, retreating to Nubox. The flames in front of him force him forward, but he's able to get a kill from that position and stay alive. Nora walking in now is also going to fall in the B-bomb site as Problem goes huge for a double. JR's trying to spam through the smoke with his pistol to deny the bomb plant. Kyler's missing the early shots though, and Kai has now put JR to bed. He's found Flarich as well. HELLRAISERS, this has all gone wrong. They tried to fight the retake too early, and they are picked apart by Kai, the hero of AVEZ.
He had 3 HP with the utility and Banana. Picks up the op, gets a 4K. How is that possible? Why did they go? They didn't go for the plant, and JR just rushes through the smoke thinking, oh yeah, sure, they'll never kill me. Then whiffs the shot. Nothing lands on K. He gets tagged down to 3 HP and still manages to go big for his team. My God, that guy's amazing.
Insanity on the B-bomb site. He's over 15 kills now in this half. The hard carry for AVEZ. Really putting in work on this T side as HELLRAISERS have struggled from start to finish. They can bring rifles out in this round, but it's limited utility once again for the CT side as it's Norat on the Krieg. A first point of contact at top Banana would be peeking directly into an AWP should he choose to walk any further forward.
They're gonna go for a boost to see if JR gets a close angle. He might get shut down. Of course, this is a very flashable position that he is in. Marcus tried to get aggressive himself towards A, but they're just gonna it seems go for the B execute. At least make it look like a B execute. They have decent enough utility still left on AVEZ to clean out the site. Will they expect JR to be on that close angle, though? That is the big question.
Oh, cuz baiting around towards A, but it's Kyler who's found the first kill on B. Problem on the boost is expected, but he can find a kill regardless. He doubles up through the smoke as Kai tries to go big for his team, and Markos can't get it done on A. This round looks way more difficult for AVEZ as HELLRAISERS start to creep in. Norut's allowed to plant the bomb at very least, but it's a 2-on-4 retake this time that HELLRAISERS need to pull off.
And it is now AVEZ 2 versus 4. Naurot and Bialy both hiding on site. Going for the straight peak fight. Naurot will lose that fight. It's all on Bialy. Can the VP alumni do it? No, he cannot. He will get shut down. And finally a round for HELLRAISERS. Nice spray coming in from Problem to keep them in this round. It is, well, 3K for him. JR got a little bit too greedy right there. I mean, he got anxious, it seems. There was 35 seconds left on the clock, and at that moment normally is the moment, the time when a team executes, and he went for the peek inside banana. I think that was a little bit of a miscall from him. A couple of these mistakes. I mean, with the op, it is really strange to go for those aggressive moves, especially if you're just waiting for the execute to pretty much come through. Luckily enough, the rest of HELLRAISERS was there to clean up after JR and shut down this AVEZ push defense. But it is, JR is making some questionable plays at the moment, and I do hope that he does get his act together, because they can't handle much more, many more of these plays. Their money is not that great. They've lost 7 rounds already on their CT side, and they really need JR to step it up and be that big opera that they need him to be.
I have to say, I'm really not a fan of utilizing an AWPing IGL strategy. The issue with it is that you need your AWPer to be the best or the second best player on your roster. You need them to have phenomenal aim, because you're dumping a vast majority of your resources into securing weaponry for that player in every round. And the issue when AWPing as an in-game leader is your focus is drawn away as the captain. You've got to look at the minimap. You've got to organize your team. You need to be focusing on what everyone else is saying, and they can't focus simultaneously on leading a side and pixel perfect AWPing. I just think it never works out effectively as it could otherwise, and perhaps we're seeing that with JR statistics here.
And exactly that. There's going to be a quick push towards the balcony area, but it's going to be pretty much just a peek to see the fight coming through.
It looks as though the execution is going to be arriving in the A bomb site at the moment. 3-man stack in the pit or thereabouts for HELLRAISERS to defend. They've got JR in the close sight, and then they're holding Graveyard and Pit to try and defend. But JR looks like he wants a taste of CT aggression at the moment. He wants to push forward, and that would be a bad idea, and one that would be ill-advised. He retreats back into the site instead as AVEZ look to wrap around the longer channel of attack and move into the A site.
JR does get shut down by K. Spray down comes out, but Kyla gets a kill onto Flourish, and it's all on Jalen. He's stuck inside the smoke. Does get Bialy, does get a double spray down onto Marcos as well, but they will be there on the rotations fast enough. He did keep them occupied long enough. K is down to 1 HP, but we know what this man can do with almost no health to his name. Nauro does get rid of Problem, and all of a sudden it's all on Kalinka. He has barely any health, any money left as well. Naurod's going to win that straight duel, and Naurod gets himself 3 very important kills to finally rake up that kill feed of his, because he has been a little bit lackluster so far, but finally stepping up to the plate. Great side take coming out from AVEZ. Nice smokes everywhere to cut off all possible angles that AVEZ could be hiding in. Jalen went for a solid defense, but unfortunately was not enough to hold this AVEZ push at bay.
It really wasn't, and now AVEZ have an opportunity to really dominate this first half. Look at it in mid. The aggression read by Norad. He nearly gets 3 from that range. If there was just a single player helping him out, he might have stayed alive. It's still the man advantage, regardless, earned in the favor of AVEZ, as Kai seems to anticipate this aggression from JR. He's going to spray through the smoke even, as JR, what did he just do? Threw away his MP9 to look for the M4, but has to walk too far forward to pick it up, and that allows the punishment to come through. There has been a disconnection from the AVEZ side, as Nora appears to have dropped out of the server, but with Problem on just 1 HP, this should be the easy conversion from AVEZ.
Yeah, it should be definitely still very doable. We'll, of course, get a pause right after this round, but JR, he tries to upgrade his weapon, drops his main weapon, and in the smoke can't find the M4 that he's looking for. So the moment they see the weapon fall down, they just spray him through the smoke, and they know, yeah, they just have his number. JR is making, again, he's not stopped with these plays. A little bit unfortunate there, but Problem now down to 1 HP. And HELLRAISERS, they went for the force buy on this one, so this might actually be a 10-5 half in favor of AVEZ when on a map that they have 20% win rate on.
That would be a very strong start indeed to their T side, and on 1 HP it looks as though Problem is going to get away into that pit and be able to try and defend his rifle. He's only on 1 HP, and surely this angle gets anticipated by Kai. It's an off angle for Problem for sure, but he may have just hidden enough to stay alive at the end of the round. Kai just swinging around now, does not appear to have his number, and that is the M4 brought forward. That's going to help out HELLRAISERS a lot in this upcoming round, as their economy is certainly stretched, and AVEZ have the opportunity to secure double digits.
It's a tough one indeed. Luckily, they managed to save that 1 M4, so he can drop him his teammate one as well and get a full utility buy behind it. That is actually a little bit of a saving grace. Otherwise, they would be incredibly lackluster this round. Unfortunately, Kalinka did not go for the R8 revolver, so I am deeply disappointed with the current state of affairs. Kyla does get rid of Jalen, though, and that's a nice opening pick. It was, I think, the FAMAS that drops. JR will be able to pick that one up. This time he can see the weapon, so he actually can take the weapon with him. But K towards that banana. We've seen it time and time again. Does he win that duel against Kalinka? Oh, the flash. Perfect on the mark, but unfortunately Bialy was there to play the anti-flash and get the return frag coming through. They will actually fall back towards that A site after the 1-for-1 trade. And banana push out, jumps out of apps. Now does spot a player towards pit at least. But where is the second possible player? JR might just go for the smoke creep. Get the flag and great double spray down JR. This time the smoke play does work out. It is going to be Flarage and Problem to try and hold this off, but the bomb is in mid, and look at the flag. Does he get the shot in? Marcus whiffs the shot. He needs to re-peek to get it quickly before he gets flanked from behind. He gets the shot, but right from behind it is gonna be Flares trying to kill him off. The spray comes out and connects, and he sprays him through the smoke. HELLRAISERS managed to get the last round of the half, and that is going to be 9 for AVEZ, 6 for HELLRAISERS.
The 3-round lead secured by the Polish squad then as we head forward into the second half of HELLRAISERS map pick. And it really is Kai doing all the work for the T side. 18 kills for him. Kyla, I think, is trying to follow it up on 11, but it's amazing work from the individual. And this from JR just bails the whole round out there. Lucky to find the lineup, but either way, it is HELLRAISERS 6th secured, but they're still desperate for the pistol round here, fighting from behind on their own map pick.
This pistol is going to be pretty crucial for HELLRAISERS, of course, and this is a definite must-win map for them because AVEZ, the second pick is their map pick. It is very possible, though. 9-6 is not too bad, and HELLRAISERS are more versed on the T side. They're going to go for the long wrap. They immediately delete Kyla, but K is towards the pit. However, he's already dinged up, will not get a single kill and Kalinka shuts him down. Now it's going to be JR peeking up against Naurod. Will win that duel, and HELLRAISERS all of a sudden annihilate this AVEZ defense. Last man standing, Bialy, the VP. Will he be able to clutch it out for his team? Or, yeah, he's going to pick up a flash, has a kit, has a armor as well. Just 4 headshots. 4 bullets is all he needs. That's 1. That's 2.
Ooh.
Don't tell me it's going to be possible. He is creeping up towards site, does not know where the last player would be. They're both double stacking towards short as well. They don't want to give him a shot to win this one. And actually, the bomb is planted on site pretty nicely. He could have attempted the full stick, but will just get the bomb exploding. But gets himself a 4K for his troubles there. And that's a little bit of extra cash for Bialy. Could even buy an op next round if they go for the full eco.
Indeed, he could. A decent effort from the Polish veteran to try and recover that pistol round, but he just couldn't get it done towards the end. Now HELLRAISERS have an opportunity to come back into this map with a strong T side. They're going to be up against the eco in the second as AVEZ look to deny the tie in round 18.
Yeah, they are going to go for that full 5 USP stack. Next round will be a buy round. It is already pretty much round 1 for HELLRAISERS, seeming they have B site under lockdown. AVEZ went for the gamble stack towards A. Does not pay off, unfortunately. Long range stabs against Kalinka. Drop that AK. Okay, thank you very much. Quickly run out to secure the AK. And that would be a massive pick to take with you into the next round as well. Well, Naurod shuts down JR. This is a lot more expensive than initially thought.
Definitely not the start that AVEZ would have been looking for. The bomb down in B, though, they won't have any say at the outcome of the round, but perhaps these USPs can still deal damage and recover some more rifles.
Yeah, they... That's a pretty impressive start of their CT defense. A little bit aggressive push. There's still a rifle somewhere along the lines of Banana, but they're not going to attempt to try and pick it up. Maybe Naurod can get close enough. No, he does not get it, unfortunately. But there is the op bot out for Bialy. Drops it towards Marcos, and they do actually have the op advantage now in favor of AVEZ. And have a very solid buy. 8K, 2 M4s, FAMAS, an op, and very decent amount of utility on their side. So HELLRAISERS do need to be very careful of this op right now, because they might have a read on it. They probably do have a read on it with the 4K from Bialy, but it is still something you don't expect so early in the map.
We'll have to see whether or not it catches HELLRAISERS off guard. Because with the sniper in hand, it's key that he doesn't shoot until he's confirming a shot as well, or has to absolutely fire that weapon, because that element of surprise that you mentioned is really going to be an assisting factor against this HELLRAISERS side. They are going to be advancing into the A bomb site. It looks like they've just got Jalen making sure that it's not a total stack on A, but he's found an entry on B. That could even draw a rotation. He could find a second kill. Naurod is lucky to survive there, and that's going to leave all 3, I think, stacked in this A bomb site, although they are getting mobile. Early Molotovs dropped. Those sound cues, I'm not sure whether they'll have yielded anything, as Kyler's looking to get an aggressive position. He could both of them get flanked out of apartments.
Oh my god, K is an absolute god. He just completely holds that apps push. Does shut down 2 players, falls back towards site. 30 seconds left on the timer, and they have to hurry right now on HELLRAISERS. They can't let this time tick too long. Marcos, does he hold the off angle? He actually has his back turned towards long, and now it's all on K and Naurod, but K is stuck on site. He's going to go for the peek against JR, wins that duel, and he needs to win against Flourish, but Flourish shuts him down with a headshot. 13 HP versus 16 HP. Has to go for the full bomb plant. Does he expect Naurod to come in from behind? He does, it seems. Not expected. Naurod's going to go all the way towards apps and might peek out wide to spot this Flourish towards long. Yeah, he spots him just in the end. It sprays him down, wallbang as well, and gets the final kill. And that is going to be AVEZ with a hero play from K to secure the first team to be on double digits.
Marcos made a critical mistake there with an AWP. I don't know what on earth he thought he was doing with his rear end exposed towards arch side, but completely focused in on the apartments. He put his team at incredible risk there. All he had to do was take a couple of steps forward, and he could have been watching apps if he wanted to. That really did open up the potential for entry into the bomb site from HELLRAISERS, and that AWP, which was the most important part of the last buy, didn't get to be utilized because of that unfortunate positioning. It does go AVEZ's way in the end, but that AWP needs to be finding more impact, really, if AVEZ are going to have a successful half.
Yeah, they really need it right now. There is going to be 2 pistols on HELLRAISERS and a full buy on both sides. Winner of this round will probably be able to secure the next one on top of it again, because the money is broke back mountain right there. It is going to be Naurot and Bialy towards that B site defense. Peek out wide, nice catch coming through, drops JR, and a man advantage in favor of AVEZ, going for the quick boost towards the flower bed to play a nice little off angle, and Bialy wants to actually probably cross back towards site, it seems.
He's just holding to make sure they don't aggress through quickly off the back of that first kill, and that his teammate doesn't get isolated on the boost. But he's rotated now around to Coffins and can await the execution of HELLRAISERS, who begin their dump of utility into the B-bomb site. Rotations on the way, but Nora has found nothing from the boost. Flashed off, he drops down, and Bialy is overwhelmed by Jalem's AK within the site. It's Marcos trying to find damage through the smoke at this point in time, but nothing will be found as the bomb is planted in the B site. AVEZ are going for this retake, but Kalinka found the timing onto Kyler. Norot falls to problem as well now, and Kai and Marcos might just have to back away. HELLRAISERS have done enough to secure their 9th.
Yeah, very nice round. Pretty much dodging K because they now know that he's on the A site, but in general, just great flashes, especially the retake of Banana right there, where Kalinka won that duel to shut down, I think it was it Kyler? I think it was Kyler. Who pushed through Banana, and just the moment that he falls, it is going to be really hard to take that B side, because you need to retake Banana control as a CT, and it is very tough to do if you have to come through away from B site.
One round between these sides, and it looks like AVEZ need to eco. Buying around these 2 rifles would not be the smartest call at all, and this is HELLRAISER's firm chance to tie up the scoreline. It is just pistols supporting these 2 weapons, and it is going to be Marcos and Kai who have to put in huge amounts of work here in order to turn this round into a success for AVEZ. Marcos aggressive on Banana, forced away by the flashbangs, but not killed yet. He still has the sniper available as Norot's tagged down to 7. They do have to back away into the B bomb site, and AVEZ, they are trying to now defend A from the incoming HELLRAISERS attack.
They are going to face Kyler most likely, and that means that Mr. USP will be in a world of hurt. A little bit of molly damage to their own teammates, it seems. Trying to flush it out. Kai does peek wide, and so does Bialy, but Flareage gets both of them. And that means the A side's completely clear. Kyler in library will not get anything done, and the last man standing is Marcos with the big green stick. He needs to try and save it, but it is so long that he needs to keep it alive, and they're definitely going to go hunting for that big boomstick. He does get the kill onto Jalem, and as you can see, they know exactly where he is. They're completely cornering him in. He has to go very big to try and keep the op alive. It's going to peek out wide. Ooh. Gets a double. What a complete disaster right there. Does he have a kit? Unfortunately, he does not have a kit. Otherwise, he could have possibly even gotten the defuse in.
There could be one around. He's running in at least to draw these HELLRAISERS players closer, but he knows there's no time on the bomb now, and so has to just back away. If he did have a kit, that would have been very dangerous indeed. HELLRAISERS seem to be aware just how much danger they put themselves in. But despite the victory, they throw 3 players away at the end of the round, just trying to steal an AWP away from Marcos, and they don't even manage to accomplish that objective. AVEZ still going to have that sniper in the next round, but they perhaps are the side looking in trouble as HELLRAISERS have firmly caught up with them.
That was finally a moment where you could see Marcos absolutely step up to the plate. Unfortunately, it was a round where they had, well, which they'd already lost, and that makes it a little bit more saddening. But everyone is flash right now. The spray is not going to connect, and now Marcos on site. The quick rush coming out from HELLRAISERS being successful so far. Marcos is still holding the line though, but does not expect to link it to a push site so quickly. Marcos is gonna get another kill with the HE grenade, but will burn to a crisp. It is going to be a 2-on-2 situation. JR is already on that A side, calls for the rotation so they can get the free bomb plant in, and it seems that they have read the play perfectly and will be able to get a nice plant coming. Will they go for the retake, or will they go... I would assume they'll go for the retake though, but they could also just go for the AK op save into the next round if they don't believe that they have the power to shut them down. It seems they do. They do still have Kai alive, so they might as well try and use him. But JR, very good positioning coming in library. If he doesn't peek too wide and he doesn't get spotted out, he should be able to shut them both down. And a great defense from JR, who is creeping to that, you know, even scoreline of himself. Nice guys, they never expected a player to be in library as aggressively.
The lead now obtained by HELLRAISERS once again. They've recaptured it on their map pick, and considering just how poor AVEZ's statistics are on this map, how dire their recent showings have been, it was a very competitive early half performance on their T site. Tyler gets a kill in this round, but AVEZ, they need to stabilize, otherwise they're worried about bottoming out here, and heading into their second map, it's still an opportunity for HELLRAISERS to perform. It's not like it's completely unknown territory for the squad. AVEZ would really like a map advantage here if they can get it, but HELLRAISERS are slowly but surely taking those chances away.
AVEZ does do a decent amount of economic damage so far. They have the bomb still in bananas, but you do see Bialy rotating towards the A site. At this point, you know, you don't really have the weaponry. You might just go for a gamble stack personally, and go for the retake together. And it seems it is going to be Naurot towards B, who has to hold the line. Does still have a molly available. Is going to fall back towards site. Not a lot of HP to his name, and also no armor. It doesn't matter if he has armor or not. One bullet should be enough to kill him, or the molly for half a second, because you know, that's a very sad way to die.
I'm not sure why he backed up there, seemingly into the molly, and then pushed forward. I'm assuming he thought it was going to go down in front of him initially. But either way, he just stands in it and goes down for free. And HELLRAISERS, they are going to hold on to this bomb site. That's the main contingent of the retake dealt with. Bialy just has a Deagle, and Problem has dealt with that. 2 round in the lead now. HELLRAISERS, and their bank is being built up substantially. AVEZ, this is the time to compete for the round. They've brought double AWPs out to try and stabilize this CT half and keep fighting forward on today's opening map of quarterfinal number 2.
Yeah, this is a map that HELLRAISERS, of course, need to win. I mean, it's just 20%. AVEZ have made it so far very competitive. The double op setup might actually come in clutch right here. Quick push towards Banana, which is going to be forfeited completely by Naura, but he does have the op towards Coffins. And it is going to be a straight peek, it seems, coming through. They are going to go rush in. He misses the shot, unfortunately. Goes for the flash so he can go for the repeat. Jalen gets annihilated by Naurot, and will be a retake situation coming in for the AVEZ squad. Very doable retake, 5v4. They still have pretty much all their utility on the CT side as well. So if they just play their molly game, play the retake from Banana, they can definitely shut this down. If JR falls here without getting too many kills, it could be massive. Double spray down from Kyler though. The bomb is ticking down. They have to hurry up. And the two oppers are literally just shooting pop shots through the smoke. They have to rush towards the side. Time is ticking further and further. Kalinka with the double spray down Flareage. It's a 1-on-1. But the time, it's not, is it there? No. Marcos, he can't get the defuse in, and it's going to be a round win for HELLRAISERS. They took too long on the side of AVEZ. They did shut them all down, but it just took too long.
When that double spray down came through from Kyler, I really thought that retake was going to happen. The second kill, so fortunate to come through, but then they stall. They're so anxious to go through those smokes and give up their weapons that they actually fall foul to the defense from HELLRAISERS. They lock onto that bomb and hold it, and now have an opportunity to go 14-10 up on their map pick. They dump a deep Molotov and wait for aggression from that AVEZ CT side. A flash blinds the AWPer, and Marcos falls to boot. HG's trying to punish Bialy, who's waiting for counter aggression and has dealt with it in kind. Kai, also towards the A apartments, is finding damage, but Kalinka's now put him down, and JR, with that second kill, has opened up the A-bomb site.
Yeah, no defense possible right now. They are gonna head out to try and get something done. I mean, you probably should just go for the save, honestly, but retaking against 3 players with an op is not really that easy. Now just jumps through the smoke. I mean, if he picks up that AK and Banana, you at least have another weapon in the next round to save up. It's not like you're going to be able to clutch it out with barely any solid weaponry or utility to try and retake that A site, which you took like 10 seconds before you actually even reached the A site. And now Bialy needs to be careful. He's being flanked in the meantime by Flareage. Just going to smoke it off, but there is going to be Kalinka, close range. Tries to go for the flick. Bialy does eventually shut him down with the 5-7, and now is going to get flanked again by Flareage, who is close range in Banana. Hiding behind sandbags, but will not lose his life. We'll be able to drop that op to an ally, which is, I mean, they might just go for the double op setup again, and they are exactly doing that. Now Rot and Marcos on the ops to try and mount a comeback right now, because they need 6 rounds in a row to take it before OT.
Well, they brought the double snipers back out. How popular, how successful can they be? They need impact. They're desperate for it. Norit actually legged through the wall there by JR, who's using that T-side AWP, and his team are making moves towards the A side of the map, but the CT utility is keeping them at bay for now. The 4th man has actually rotated closer to the A bomb site, so if HELLRAISERS were to continue their current plan and push aggressively up Banana, they'd only have Norit's AWP to find in order to get access to this bomb site.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crawl towards that B site. They do prefer starting off towards the B site most of these rounds. Nor does have to hold them off. Pulls the trigger a little bit too soon, going for the repeat, but does get spotted out. Tagged down to 16 HP, and it's going to be another retake situation. But Kalinka, he's going to make it problematic for the rotations to come in quick. Will eventually get shut down by Bialy, but he at least kept them distracted. JR gets a shot through the smoke. Wall bang headshot. Wait, what?
That was a crazy shot. I have no idea where it came through, what kind of the lineup that was. All I know is that JR got the kill, and that HELLRAISERS are now going to be on map point on their pick in the quarterfinals, unless AVEZ can string together 5 in a row on their CT side in order to force overtime. Kai and Bialy are going to save these rifles. Norit can buy himself a weapon, but Marcos and Kyler are going to be lacking firepower heading into what could be the last round of our first map.
Yeah, Hellraisers. I think AVEZ have had 1 round on their CT side so far, whereas Hellraisers are on 9 rounds in total. On their T side, you can definitely see that they feel a lot more comfortable when they don't have to hold down positions, where they can just let JR do whatever he pretty much wants. I mean, he's the IGL, but he just pretty much does what he wants himself. And Kalinka playing a very good anchor, trying to keep those rotations in check. Also, Kai has definitely slowed down since the first half. He had that one big play towards the A side, but after that, it has been a rather low for him as well. They haven't really gone towards the A side most of the time, and that might be the reason why.
Makes a lot of sense for AVEZ to rotate over, but the issue is that Hellraisers have the read on this. They are going to be attacking the A-bomb site, where there are only 2 defenders currently stood. Kai and Kyler, both players who've been great so far on Inferno, but as these smokes go deeper and deeper through the A apartments, Kalinka's going to eat a grenade, and Kai spraying down as well should give his angle away. This quick rotation from Norat is being considered and perhaps waited for by Hellraisers at the moment as they smoke off Arch side. They look like they're waiting for an opening before they push. Smoked off Library, but Norat's gone straight through it. He's held left click and Flowich has taken him down. 18 HP, but still alive. Jalem opens up for the next kill, but Kai, he's had a triple from the pit, make it 4. AVEZ stand alive as it's the ace from Kyler to get it done in the A-bomb site and deny Hellraisers the map.
Kai, I mean, I just said that he's gone silent, and all of a sudden with the ace clutch to push this one forward. My God. How does he actually... I mean, cast the skirts all over, but jeez. That's why they keep going B-site. Right there, that man, too dangerous to handle.
Somehow AVEZ are alive. Still alive and kicking in this map, and Hellraisers, now their economy hangs on a knife's edge. Markot's lucky to be alive, but he does escape. That's the crucial factor. No kills yet traded either way, as the rotation of Bialy is already on its way back to the A site, and Hellraisers have guessed it right again now. They're moving into Banana, which is the more weakly defended area of the map. But they got it right last time, and it still didn't work out because of the Kai factor. As long as they can avoid him this time, perhaps that's their strategy, and smash in the weaker players over on the other side.
Yeah, it does seem that way with Kalinka trying to creep around that A bomb site. It is pretty much his strat towards Arches. There's going to be a peek out wide. He's going to get shut down. There's going to be Naro chiming in with a double spray down, and they do have the 2-man advantage right now on the site. Oh, okay, that smoke was a little bit of a whiff, it seems. He's going to try and play the close angle. Does not... The shoot in between the legs, but Flarich and JR will be able to creep into site. However, Banana's already being heavily pushed, and they are on site, stuck, surrounded. They will get the bomb plant at least, so they'll have a decent amount of money into the next round. JR gets 1 kill, but is going to get shut down by who else but Kai, who's going to peek out wide. Gets executed, though, by Flarich, but Kyler is there to trade the frag. And it is going to be AVEZ 12, Hellraisers 15. There is a solid shot here for AVEZ to come back.
It's in the air. It's palpable. You can almost taste it. AVEZ, the hunger to stay alive on Inferno, and Kai. Someone's buying that man a beer at the end of this series, regardless of the outcome. That ace alone is MVP potential for him from this opening map. Just couldn't have come through at a better time. Absolutely necessary round for AVEZ to win, and he bails his team out completely individually with those kills. It's Hellraisers who eat heavy nade damage in round 28, and with just the pistols, they will try and deny what is... that's interrupted my whole train of thought almost out of anger, because I can see 2 revolvers on this Hellraiser side. What's going on?
Bro, they're gonna easy win this round off the back of rip. Oh, Marcos, well, this is just shooting ducks right now. Gets tagged, so we'll fall back a little bit until the defense of his teammates comes in, because he doesn't want to accidentally lose that op and gift it away to his opponents. And it is going to be a B push crawling in there. Problem. Ah, too bad.
Perhaps too bad, but JR on the Deagle. He might get flanked before he can get anything done here. Kai will take him down and make himself no more steps away. He's arrived at the 30 bomb, Kai, regardless of the outcome of this map, carrying his team far. And now AVEZ at 15-13, they win this gun round, and there is serious opportunity to force overtime against HELLRAISERS. It all was predicated from that solitary Kai ace, and if AVEZ get through the next 2 rounds, they won't be out of map 1 yet.
Pretty big comeback mounting so far. Of course, you would, even if you manage to win the next 2 rounds, you still have to duel versus HELLRAISERS in OT, which is not as easy as, well, it's just not easy. They're a pretty tough team, all things considered. However, their strats have been foiled so far. They have been shut down 3 rounds in a row. Will they be able to continue this streak? They're going to go for the aggressive banana hold on AVEZ. Not that they've done it a lot. I actually think they've barely done the aggressive hold in general. Marcos is holding long. Will get smoked off, though. Might be a gap in the smoke if he's lucky. Tries to go for the shot. Nade comes through, a little bit of tag damage, but Kai has CT held under control as well. And it's going to be a heavy A push coming out from HELLRAISERS with the defense already awake, because they have 4 players for the defense. Kai peeks out wide, gets a 1-for-1 trade, loses his life though. And it is going to be a continuation push. Great shot from Marcos. Nice flick. Gets blinded afterwards. And in pit, it is going to be Kyler dropping 2 versus 3 to deny the map victory for HELLRAISERS. Bialy and Nauro, they need to retake that A site. They have no utility whatsoever. Both have a kit though, but it is going to be dry peeks into these AKs and op from JR.
Oh, he's trying. He's trying.
This is close, but he gets his back turned towards pit. JR is going to get taken out, but he does not expect Lincoln to peek out wide, and it is going to be HELLRAISERS 16-13 to finally secure the first map.
Well, it is an incredibly close affair again, ladies and gentlemen. These quarterfinals are always going the distance, and on HELLRAISERS' pick, they just about managed to convert it 16-13 and avoid heading into overtime on the first map. AVEZ, who put up a great performance on map 1, now need their own map pick of Nuke to stay alive and remain with a chance at making the semis. Can they do it, or will HELLRAISERS put AVEZ to bed and advance with a quick 2-0? Find out after this break. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. We are almost ready to get map 2 of our second quarterfinal underway after a very close match again there on Inferno. It was HR who took their pick, and now they have the chance to 2-0 this series. AVEZ with their own map pick up next on Nuke. They need to take this one if they want a chance to stay alive and go for that reverse sweep on Train later on. My name is Protalis, and talking you through the rest of this series with me is DK Truman. How are you doing?
I'm doing warm. I'm doing really warm. But yeah, it's been an exciting couple of maps so far today. Pretty much all of them really close. AVEZ almost mounted the comeback in that last map against HELLRAISERS, and that makes me very worried for HELLRAISERS. I mean, they're not bad at Nuke, of course, but it is still the map choice of AVEZ. They feel very comfortable on it, and with the fact that both oppers are not, I mean, this is a really important map to have a solid opper on, especially if you're on the CT side. You need that outside defender in your team. And Marcos and JR, I've seen some plays of theirs that have been pretty outstanding, but most of the time they have been rather lackluster. There is something wrong with the scoreboard that we're seeing right now, because AVEZ definitely didn't win Inferno with 16-0.
No, it was actually 13 rounds that HELLRAISERS managed to put on the board, but the result is still the same. A victory for the result is not the same at all. The result is completely different, because the result is actually a victory for HELLRAISERS. It's 13 rounds that AVEZ put on the board, and now they are the team desperate to come and fight back here on Nuke. I'm not sure whether I've seen enough to have confidence in them, or total confidence, but the fact that they were so competitive on Inferno is definitely a good sign. However, when they swapped onto the CT side, they'd struggled to win rounds for a very long time until Kai pulled off that ace.
Yeah, that was pretty much it on the T side as well. Most of the rounds that they won were off the back of Kai just opening up that B site, the Banana B area, and they need to step it up and not make Kai carry that entire burden on his own. Especially the opera is going to have to start waking up soon. Marcos and, of course, Bialy, because he is one of the most experienced players in the server, and he has an obligation to step up his game and try and take this to a map number 3, because it would, of course, if HELLRAISERS win this one, they advance to the semis and AVEZ get eliminated. So who do you have for this map, the Octopus or the Red Eyebrows?
Well, initially I did have the Eyebrows at the start of the series, but Inferno was just so competitive that I think AVEZ have a much better opportunity here on their map pick. It does really come down, for my money, to how well AVEZ can perform on the CT side of this map. Their CT side of Inferno left me wanting something more. There was something not quite there. Perhaps it was the presence of an impactful AWPer that felt like it was missing, but either way, it didn't look perfect. And if those weaknesses carry over onto Nuke, HELLRAISERS would have an opportunity to exploit them and put out a great showing if they started on the T side first, because this map is still familiar territory for HELLRAISERS. It's just AVEZ, the fact that they were able to make Inferno so competitive when recently they've been getting wrecked on the map, it makes me feel like they're bringing something special to this series.
Special indeed. Oh no, look at the Kalinka's weapon. Ho ho.
Not again.
Yeah, I just checked a little quick peek in the lobby, and he does seem to still wield that beautiful R8 revolver. He might still be able to swap it out before the match actually starts, though, but
I don't think he will. If he's still got it equipped, this must be a deliberate bring forward at this point in time, and I think it found a single kill. It just makes no sense. Even if, my personal bias of the weapon aside, Deagles are such a heavy part of the current meta. Their fire rate to body tag is as important as their one-shot headshot potential. And it just, the R8 is such a weaker weapon in terms of fire rate that it doesn't make sense to bring it forward into those force buy scenarios whatsoever. Only really if you're holding on to that CT side, and even then in very specific scenarios to try and accomplish. It looks as though we have the knife round of Nuke ready to... HELLRAISERS and AVEZ about to battle it out, with HELLRAISERS trying to 2-0 and AVEZ fighting for survival.
Yep, it's going to be pretty much who's going to get the CT side, and it does seem to be AVEZ. They need all the little help that they can get. They need to recover this map as well, and then secure the last map on top of it all. They will start on that coveted CT side, of course, because it is a lot easier to defend, and it does mean with the positions of how this map really is, if you just anchor Kai towards that A side, please anchor him towards A side, he has such a quick rotation between A and B, and he can get so much done.
Well, the loot bet odds are in, and AVEZ are the favourites for this map. No real surprise there, especially when they're fighting on the CT side. But I have a little bit of information here for you, Truman. So we had in the last series Apex going up against their opponents of 4s. The last time that HELLRAISERS played Nuke, it was against Apex and they won 16-13. When AVEZ played, they lost to 4s 16-9.
Yeah, these are always those nice little details that mean absolutely nothing in the end, because that's just how beautiful the game is. Kyler does open it up nicely with a triple tap to the face. It's all on Flareage. Has the bomb on his back, is waiting for the jump down towards Vents, but they know that he is down below. He might go for the quick rush up Vent as well to try and get rid of Kyler, maybe get the bomb plant in, because they might not expect him to do exactly that. But he does get spotted out, so they know exactly where Flareage is, and it is going to be mighty tough to achieve this win, or even the bomb plant, because he does need to cross, and there is one up on the rafters really close by, right above him. So the moment he tries to go for the plant, he's just going to get tapped. He does get rid of... Oh, he actually expects someone on top, but not as on the angle that he just peeked. So that is going to be AVEZ winning the pistol round. I'm actually wondering about one thing. What are those HELLRAISERS eyebrows actually supposed to be?
I mean, I can only assume it's supposed to be the devil squinting based on their last logo or something like that. Definitely trying to give off some kind of a menacing vibe, or as menacing a vibe that two lines can give off. HELLRAISERS going to be hard ecoing in this round. Barely any investment whatsoever as they save for a gun round in the next. They'll be very hungry for a bomb plant, and Kai should be hearing players above him. He spots multiple shadows but can't get any kills just yet. They do re-aggress into him, and that allows him to clean it up. No plant for HELLRAISERS, and AVEZ get through their second without losing a man.
Yeah, but now the big boy guns come out, AKs all around most likely. Don't really think that they'll go for the op just yet, especially because they don't expect an op on the opposing side. And yeah, decent enough utility as well behind HELLRAISERS. Not a bad, but actually pretty, really good buy on HELLRAISERS' side. They managed to shut down AVEZ here. The AVEZ do have a full buy next round though, so it is definitely very important to lose as little players on the side of HELLRAISERS as possible if you're going to win this round.
Well, the utility just locking the HELLRAISERS players into the lobby at the moment, as Norit's tried to go aggressive, but the AK just cleans him away. 14 HP for Problem, but he survives and allows the man advantage to go HELLRAISERS' way. Marcos is scoped in with that scout and looking for damage, but has not found the head or a tag just yet, so he's going to back away towards Hell by the looks of things, at least the Hell side of the ramp, while HELLRAISERS, they are looking to go outside and split into the A-bomb site.
Nice molly from Bialy, however, does not expect the player to have pushed forward. It does seem that Kyler saved Bialy's life right there, who does chime in to get rid of the problem. Up in the rafters, it is going to be Kyler taken down, but Kai is outside, makes it a man advantage for AVEZ, and now it's all on Kalinka with the AK in hand. We'll have to double peek. We'll have to peek into the double peek, and Kai gets himself the third of the round to shut down that HELLRAISERS push. And that puts HELLRAISERS at a problematic situation again. Kalinka could pick up that R8. Go R. Yes! Yes!
So Kalinka will be on 0 kills carrying forward into round 5, but the rest of HELLRAISERS might have an opportunity with their pistols to try and get something done. All jokes aside, it's rather unlikely that HELLRAISERS are going to find anything in this round, though AVEZ now with all of those AKs as well, 2 saved at the end of the round supporting their M4s. As long as they don't drop as many weapons here, they can survive with 3 players and it's still a decent round. But Kalinka, maybe I was wrong. He is actually finding damage with this R8, and at range he's looking for more, but he just has to back away, content with a kill for the moment.
That's a nice kill right there. Beautiful stuff, and they will be able to pick up the AK from Red Box. From K, who tried to get a little bit aggressive there. Only got a one and done. Spray coming out from Jalen. Decent damage, takes down Bialy. It is possible right now. They do have armor on their players and an R8 on Kalinka, so anything is possible right now. There's going to be a flank towards heaven. Will they expect the flank? It seems no one is actually expecting the flank so far on AVEZ. They're going to push in towards lobby themselves now. They do pick up that M4 on Kalinka as well, so unfortunately we will not see that R8 continue.
Well, this round from AVEZ has gotten interesting because they've backed out initially of the A-bomb site. They've walked back in now to defend it, though, and Marcos is very aware that if attack is going to come in from the A site, it's going to be from this heaven position. All of HELLRAISERS are stacked up and could just be chewed to pieces by this AK, which gets the first and the second, but they overwhelm both players in the site and leave Norat completely alone in a 1-on-2. He might just get the timing on Kalinka, but he's got the rifle out. The T-side player has actually secured the round. Starts off with the R8 and then follows it up with a couple more kills. 3 in the round for Kalinka, and HELLRAISER, they found their first round of the T-side.
And it all started with that R8 revolver, everyone. Don't forget to pick it up in your pugs. It is a guaranteed map winner.
Or not. I mean, you could try it. Listen, you could definitely try picking up an R8 in all of your pugs, and definitely like to see you getting smacked in the face by Deagos sprinting around corners. But in this round, AVEZ have gone for a big gamble buy. Double AWP supported by pistols and an MP9. Not the buy I was anticipating, but 2 players just had fat banks. The rest didn't, and Marcos, he's found an opening shot. Double AWPs are not totally useless, especially on a map like Nuke. He nearly got a second one there as well. Just missing out, but if he gets this, he could be in a great spot. 3 huge kills, and there is still an AWP on the board for AVEZ.
But immediately it all turns around with Jalen getting 2 on A. Knows where Bialy is, and how in God's name does this actually happen? They just had such a massive advantage. He went big, Marcos, finally, and they will be able to get the bomb plant in on that A site. AVEZ, Bialy is creeping close towards side, does execute Jalen, close range. It is going to be a problem getting rid of Bialy, but now Kai does know where the last player is. He's going to scope in. Can he play that opping game? We've seen it previously on Inferno where he clutched it out, but it is pretty tough to walk into this AK and try and win the straight duel.
He's going to have to try and make the flick work, Kai. It's all on timing. It works out for Problem. Holds out on that spray down, and despite 3 brilliant kills from Marcos in the lower tunnels, it's not enough for AVEZ to hold on to the round. They fall to HELLRAISERS on the T side, who should get an easy third now with this AVEZ side needing a CT eco. And this is what we were talking about when we said that Nuke was familiar territory for HELLRAISERS, even if it wasn't their pick.
Yeah, JR does now finally pick up the op. He's still on 0 frags so far, so they really need him to step it up as well. It is going to be a pretty lackluster by an AVEZ. I do see a CZ on Naurot and pretty much nothing behind them. Naurot maybe, yeah, he's just going to be playing close angles. Hope someone walks into his Zeus. But this should be a pretty clear-cut round for HELLRAISERS to even out the score.
And it's important for them to get 3 rounds this early as well. They missed out on the pistol, which usually gives you 3 for free. Whatever side you're on, and on the T side of Nuke, those are so much more important to earning that vital 6-round scoreline that T sides often do hunt down at the end of the first half. HELLRAISERS are just playing it slowly and waiting for aggression at the moment. None is coming through actively. It's Bialy trapped in the A-bomb site, swarmed by HELLRAISERS and eventually picked off by Problem. That allows the plant to come through now from this T side. JR holding lobby with an AWP has found Marcos, and Kyler with just his pistol and no armor. He can't even find any guns to recover, so it's just going to be holding for exits for him as this USP prays for a lucky double dink.
JR does get himself 2 kills, might get himself a 3rd as well. Peak wide comes in, JR does get the 3rd, and he does have 3 kills on the board, so that's something, but they were all against eco, full eco buy, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But a kill is a kill nonetheless, and he will be able to pad his stats a little bit.
And the buy is going to come through from AVEZ, but they're going to have very limited utility to work with. As long as HELLRAISERS don't just try and rush into a bomb site here, they should have pretty good control of the round, as this limited number of Molotovs and flashbangs available are going to fail to slow HELLRAISERS down when they eventually do choose to execute. Kalinka's wrecked Bialy early as well, and that leaves Kai in a dire spot now. He's in secret and could swing out for some kills, but knows he just has to defend the stairwell until the timing is right.
Yeah, they might get him completely caught off guard. They probably won't expect Kai to be up high, but they are actually aiming down this direction, slow walking forward. Will he peek correctly? Gets 1, gets 2, goes for 3, but will not get the 3rd, but it does even out the kills so far between the 2 teams. They will rush to down below towards that B side. They have 1 smoke and a flash on the CTs. They need to rotate towards the B bomb side as well. And Kyler towards ramp is the last one that can hold this push, but he's getting peeked from multiple angles, probably with the double doors opening. Is gonna win that spray fight, does get a little bit of damage onto Jalen, but nothing more. Peek out wide from Problem, and it's now all on Nora. They hear him run towards double doors, spray through the door as well, and he gets headshotted. Very low in HP. Bomb behind site is going to get planted, but look how close he is to Jalen. Does not expect Jalen to be around the corner, and they even Zeus a corpse just to defib him back to life to kill him again.
Well, Kai, that's a very nice double, and one that perhaps HELLRAISERS really should have been aware of the positioning for. And now we have the opportunity to talk about our partners over at Hellcase. If you use these promo codes MaltaV and MaltaV15, you can save more and grab what you deserve with Hellcase. AVEZ, they have to drop down onto the weaken buy here. HELLRAISERS are starting to build a little bit of T-side momentum, and they're not far away from that 6-round score at all.
I know this is, if they manage to win 6 rounds on the T side, that is already a massive advantage on a map like Nuke. Super CT-sided, and it does pretty much show exactly what you did expect. AVEZ on their Inferno play, they did look lackluster on the CT side, and they are continuing that streak so far. They might still turn it around, of course. The game is still young, but it is absolutely problematic so far.
HELLRAISERS again, just waiting for this AVEZ utility to be deployed, and Kai is the only okay, Kyler just wrecks Jalen there as he's spraying through the smoke, uses those tracers absolutely beautifully to bring it back into a 4-on-4. But the fact remains that there's no utility for this AVEZ side. The pistols have to do 100% of the work, and they're going to need to retake this A-bomb site as well by the looks of things, as Heaven's being watched for Kyler's peak. It's Marcos who jumps through with a P2 and now has upgraded onto an AWP, put himself definitely with the economic upgrade. He might just want to consider retreating away here, though. And let's decide go for the execution. That's the AWP found. And Nora trying to punish Kalinka. He will get it done, but has to 180 for this next kill. And Flaric will clean him up. AVEZ, they do decent damage, but they can't win the round. And HELLRAISERS, they only need one to have secured their minimum successful scoreline here on this side.
That was a very solid anti-eco, yeah, pretty much as not anti-eco, but a semi-buy coming in from AVEZ. A lot of damage has been dealt to the economy of HELLRAISERS. They still do have plenty of money left, though. Problem with $8,800 in his back pocket. So it is a solid chance. Nice shot onto JR, who does lose to that op engagement, but does not fall just yet, unfortunately for AVEZ, because they really could use that extra kill coming in. And now this time there's going to be a molly tossed towards Secret. Is Kai down below Secret, or is he tucked in sneaky angle again? I'm not really 100% sure, but he is definitely... Oh no, he's all the way towards garage. This is the angle I did speak of before the series started, where a lot of people forget to actually check out that angle.
Well, this time HELLRAISERS seem aware of it. They've dumped flashes into the garage, which has forced Kai off the angle early and seems to have deterred him from aggression as well. They're now trying to wrap into that garage, but it looks like they've forgotten about Kai because he hasn't peeked out. They don't consider that he could still be waiting in the wings, and that could be a huge problem. But Kalinka finds Kyler. Now Kai needs to open up for a refrag, but at range he loses the engagement. It's Marcos who gets Kalinka instead with the AWP. Two HELLRAISERS players low, but with 40 seconds left, they have a man advantage and want to look in for a plant. Marcos is scouting the bottom of this B bomb site, and Jalem has got the flank on.
There is luckily enough a lot of damage dealt so far. Problem is just holding that lobby area and playing a weird ladder game right there, but Naura just walks dry towards that A site and is going to get spotted out, shut down, and Marcos has to save the op because this round is OVR, and AVEZ 3 rounds so far, and that's just because they won the pistol.
That's the really upsetting part of this for AVEZ. It's their map pick. It's the CT side of Nuke. This should not be happening at all, but we saw their CT side over on Inferno perhaps wasn't quite the strongest of them all, and perhaps that was a weakness of their team rather than of their map there on Inferno. 6 guaranteed for HELLRAISERS. This half has gone well no matter what happens now. As long as they can avoid AVEZ picking up 6 consecutive rounds at the end of this half, HELLRAISERS have done a great job on their T side.
All things considered, they already have done more than enough on there. Even if they would lose all 6 rounds right now, they'd still be comfortable. Of course, it would definitely hurt for HELLRAISERS because, well, now you're at 6 and you don't want to lose anymore. But if you would, before the match started, say HELLRAISERS, yeah, they need about 6 rounds in there at this point, they'd, you know, you'd be happy with a 6-9 scoreline. Anything else right now is just a nice little added gift. If they manage to win the half, especially, it's going to be super tough for AVEZ to come back into the game. However, they will have Kai on that T side, and he did look really good in the previous map on the T side himself, so he might be able to start fragging like there's no tomorrow. Because for AVEZ, there might actually not be a tomorrow if they lose this map.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Kyler, just the scout in hand, supporting Marcos, who's on the really big sniper rifle. That AWP has to be the source of all of the firepower, really, for this AVEZ side. They've got Deagles and CZs available to support the rest of the team, but that AWP is the only proper weapon that they have to utilize on the CT side. And even if Marcos can just find Jalem early, he'll be able to reposition then and work in for the execution. It looks like he's definitely guessed this positioning right. Jalem expects there to be somebody in secret at the moment, and this could be a kill for Marcos if he overextends. Instead, he backs off to join his teammate, who are waiting to charge into the A-bomb site.
It does seem to be a very straightforward A execute with a little bit of utility thrown out by Flourish. The molly on top of blue could be pretty massive if he does throw it in. I do think that he is going to go for it. It is going to be Narot getting the first kill onto Problem. Marcus chiming in out from outside. The spray down comes through, and finally it does seem like they will be able to hold off this push. The last man standing, Kalinka, with the AK is down towards B, but he does not have the bomb. It was dropped in lobby, and it does seem like a straightforward save from the rifler of Red Eyebrows.
HELLRAISERS, they just walk straight into a stack there. Kyler is the only player who's holding the B ramp. Then you've got Marcos outside, making sure no one can wrap into the garage. All three of those other pistols are just stacked up in A, waiting for HELLRAISERS to walk in. And unfortunately for the T's, they don't get enough info to avoid them. They can still bring a buy forward, especially with Kalinka surviving, because nobody has to drop for him. They can still contest these rounds, but now there are 2 AWPs available on this AVEZ CT side, and that last round didn't really look too impressive from HELLRAISERS. I hope it's not a symptom of them slowing down throughout the rest of this half.
Yeah, they're going to go for the double op setup again on AVEZ. They have 3 AKs behind them as well, so a very nice upgrade last round. They even have enough money for a buy if they would lose this one on AVEZ. Marcos outside going for the straight duel, but JR wins it this time, shuts down one of the oppers, and JR immediately rushed towards that secret area to try and get the catch onto more if they're going to get themselves aggressive. But it does force at least one of the AVEZ players all the way down towards B, otherwise they're going to get flanked out completely.
Well, Kyler in the A bomb site with his team. It's Bialy who's found Problem first at the cost of much of his health, but that doesn't really matter. As long as they bring it back into the 4-on-4, they expect there to be somebody deep CT, but there is no player awaiting from that angle as JR creeps in from outside with this AWP. HELLRAISERS are just walking into the bomb site completely dry. Bialy gets found and traded out. 3-on-3 as Kai's looking to aggress up through secret. HELLRAISERS have very limited time to make this execution work. They've taken down Kai, and Kyler just crept around the corner quickly enough. He's taken down JR as well, and if his teammate Norot can find an AWP kill, perhaps this round could be saved. It's Kyler who's found the second kill with the AK. Flaric now takes him down though, and Norot strafing out, goes down. Flaric, that is a miraculous clutch for HELLRAISERS. Pulls off the 1 versus 2 and puts a 7th on the T side for HR.
That was pretty big as well on the side of HELLRAISERS. This does not break the economy of AVEZ so far, though. They do have a pretty decent buy on both sides. HELLRAISERS a little bit of extra in the bank, whereas AVEZ this round, if they lose this one, it might actually just be pretty much the half done for them, because it is almost a 1/2 for the side of HELLRAISERS. Jump down vents. Problem is down towards that B side, and that the problem with that always forces all your CT players to rotate around and try and defend a possible ramp take from down below.
It's outside that AVEZ want to attack in this round, though, and JR's found Marcos again. He removes his counterpart AWP, and Kai's forced up the secret stairs. Surely somebody's going to be watching for this, though. JR completely unaware as Kai drops a Molotov. Problem on the flank isn't going to be able to find him here. They have to wait for the Molotov to dissipate and push in as a team, but Problem goes on his own and falls to Kai now as well. That is a huge blunder for HELLRAISERS in the secret tunnels as Jalem gets a kill on A. They've baited rotations back up towards that bomb site, and Kyler's taken him down now as well. This is a 2-on-3 that HELLRAISERS are desperate to hold on to.
They're going to plant the bomb, but it is planted for heaven, so they can't really play any angle but the site and could get flushed out. They still do have 2 flashes and a nade for the side of AVEZ, but they do need to hurry up. They've got 1 kit on Naurot, so if they manage to shut him down without the kit being able to get picked up, Kyler is going to get flanked, but he gets a double, shuts him down, and that's going to be the defuse coming in from Kai. AVEZ managed to get round number 5 on the board. Finally, they do get a lot of damage dealt to HELLRAISERS. They should possibly get another buy going in, but it would be a very shoddy buy at best for HELLRAISERS.
All Problem had to do in that last round was wait. It makes very little sense to me that just this lack of awareness about Secret. It's been played all of the time from AVEZ, but there's still no one watching on the way in. And then all Problem has to do is wait for his team to walk down the stairs, and he can engage with 2 men on the fight. That guarantees the trade at bare minimum. But instead, they allow Kai 2 for absolutely nothing. And then Kyler can just double up in the A bomb site later on. This spam is doing hefty amounts of damage in the A site, and Marcos is following it up with shots as well. Kai's found frags through the smoke. Jalen replies at least, brings it back into a 2-on-3, but they've dropped the bomb up in that A bomb site, and Jalem's now been taken out as well. Flaric with a Galil, well, has upgraded to an AK, but still has to clutch a 1-on-2.
He does have a lot of time left on the clock, though, and he's going to go for the quick rotation back towards lobby, because at the moment, Narot did push lobby, so he might actually not expect Flowers to come from behind, depending on how fast he moves over there. They should keep an eye on, of course, there's so many angles you need to keep an eye on. And Bialy's going to keep an eye on Heaven. He does have an inkling now, Narot, that there might be a lobby push coming in. Fleric, will he win that straight duel against Narot? Does lose it. Narot holds the flank, and it is going to be another round for AVEZ. Money for HELLRAISERS is in tatters. They have broken the HELLRAISERS back finally on AVEZ, and should be able to successfully win this next round. I'm saying that, but Kalinka picks up his beautiful R8 revolver, so the round is not over just yet.
There's no body armor, though, which means the aim punch is just going to be wrecking these HELLRAISERS players. The likelihood they can pick up number 14 is incredibly low, so the best chance really they have at a victory in this half now lies with the 1-round lead at the end of things. 6-7. AVEZ, this, however you try and sell it, has not been a successful CT half for them on their map pick. And while the statistics indicate they have something to bring to the T side, HELLRAISERS themselves are much stronger on the defensive side of this map. And you have to worry for AVEZ, knowing that they are going to be switching on to the CT side. Really here, AVEZ need both of these rounds, and they need the T side pistol.
And there is going to be a pretty decent duel coming out. JR does get a deagle headshot onto Nara to even out the score. AK picked up for JR as well. And he's got ramp control, and that is dangerous, because that means that they need to be aware of their positioning. Marcos gets executed by Problem. Oh, don't tell me that this is the round. Kalinka did lose his life without getting a kill with the RA, but the flank from Kyler is going to be big. Shuts down one, does get spotted by the rest. Ooh. Problem is a god on that deagle, and now all of a sudden it's a 2-on-3 situation. Kai is coming back, though. Bialy does take care of one, but Flaric will never expect the angle. Bomb his drop, and it's all on Problem. Ooh. And Problem, does he manage to get the last one? No, unfortunately, he doesn't get the 4K. 7-7, a lot of damage. Actually, a lot of damage dealt. They should still have a decent buy with K surviving, though. But look at that on the side of AVEZ. They've got Kyler and K just going completely massive to try and win them the rounds back. Whereas HELLRAISERS, they just have a pretty even scoreline on the board in general.
Yeah, everyone's just been turning up on this T side, and that last round they only lost because of timing, really. JR is just unfortunate that he gets into the A site as Kai is repositioning to flank the lobby. If he'd have been a couple of seconds earlier, he would have caught Bialy off. If he'd been a couple of seconds later, he could have taken the direct engagement against Kai and prevented, perhaps, the 1v1 scenario occurring at the end of that round. And this from HELLRAISERS is now very promising. They've dumped nearly all of AVEZ's utility through this round. There's 2 smokes and 3 flashes left for the CT side to try for denials, and HELLRAISERS have now used a lot of their own utility, and it's not really worked out whatsoever. Marcos has just taken down Kalinka for free, and Flaric has been wrecked by this crossfire. HELLRAISERS, wrong tactical call in this round.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt, but unfortunately they did not expect Marcos to be all the way in CT and Kyler to be playing that aggressive position towards Heaven. to shut down the peaks. JR, he does know where Kyler is. Kyler is very low though, but K is gonna chime in, gets rid of JR, and even finishes off Problem. 17 frags for K. Kyler, I think 16, something along those lines. So a very good half for them. They managed to somehow still win the first half of the second map, but it is still a very big problem for AVEZ now on the T side, whereas HELLRAISERS, they've got a massive advantage on the CT side.
It's all going to stem from this pistol round. If AVEZ can take it and start getting T-side momentum, they have a chance on their map pick, and our partners over at LootBet seem to think this is all up in the air. Identical odds yet again, the total coin toss, and I couldn't tell you which side has the advantage until I know who's won the pistol.
That's cheating. But yeah, it's going to be a close one. Outside rush straight up from AVEZ. It seems to have anyone holding the angle. He does get a couple of tags against him, and they're already down secret without a real tag coming through. But JR, they're stacking that B site heavily, just like... who was that again earlier today that did the pistol round immediate stack on the B site as well?
Pause, I believe. And it didn't work out for them, unfortunately. And now, AVEZ, they've changed their minds. They rush back up to A, and they've read this like a book. It's Kalinka who's in serious trouble in heaven, as Flourish has already been found. Kalinka finds nothing with his USP. AVEZ, they read that pistol round perfectly, and HELLRAISERS now need a 3-on-5 retake.
And this is pretty much exactly what happened the last time as well, when they just get absolutely shut down. Kai with a great pop flash coming through. Problem gets blinded, and now it's all on JR and Jalem to try and clutch this out. They're just going to save their body armor. If they don't get tagged at all, it's only 350 gold dollars that they need to spend to try and get a nice set of head armor as well. But they will lose another one, get a couple of kills in return on JR and Jalem, so they will at least be able to get a little bit of extra money for the next round. But AVEZ does win the pistol, and that puts them at the driving seat to win the next 2 rounds. If they manage to hold off this HELLRAISERS defense, who is going to go for the double scout setup, and pretty dangerous defense coming out from HELLRAISERS here, because this is a really long-range map on certain angles, and you do not want to straight peek into those scouts.
The issue, though, for HELLRAISERS, if they lose this round, they have to eco in the next. That's AVEZ on 11 before HELLRAISERS are buying a pretty healthy lead for the T side to have, and if they win a single gun round at that point, a really great spot to be in. Beautiful grenade there from the scout, but nobody expects Bialy to be in the B bomb site. JR gets one back with a second sniper, but Marcos trades him out equally as quickly, and Jalem pushing in finds Kyler at close range. That's the low HP player, but he can't deny the bomb plant. His 2 SMGs have to fight at long range now down in this B bomb site. It's a very difficult job to do, especially when AVEZ are firmly in these post plant positions.
They are 2 players pushing ramp. As long as they keep players alive, there's a chance, but Marcos pushes through that smoke. And Jalem will at least chime in to deal a decent amount of damage here to the side of AVEZ, but should not be able to get much more done. Bialy finishes off Jalem, and that is the round win for AVEZ. HELLRAISERS, they've got very little money left, so this is going to be probably a deagle, and that is about it. Maybe, you know, an R8, but I would not expect much more.
I agree with you on that one. JR has enough money saved to make sure he can get an AWP in the next round, so it's just Kalinka, who I think picks up a CZ in this round rather than the R8, and they are going to be taking the majority of their bodies over towards this A bomb site. They've got Jalem alone outside to see if he can find any messy work with this deagle. He's heard a player jump actually on his head, but he can't do anything about it, as Kai just rips him to pieces with that MAC-10. First kill secured by AVEZ, and they are well on their way to guaranteeing round number 11.
Yeah, they do have a P250 and a CC to try and turn this around, but it is very tough to do without any body armor available, and Kai running around with that Mac 10 to just farm a little bit of extra cash. Decent amount of damage being dealt. They will drop that Mac 10, but unfortunately it is exactly as I'm saying. They dropped the Mac 10. It's not the end of the world here for AVEZ. It does hurt that they lost Kai though.
Now they look to walk into the A site. JR is waiting in heaven for outside aggression. That's why no one's committed to this bomb site just yet on the defense from the HELLRAISERS side, and that's going to allow the free plant to come through from AVEZ. Doesn't look like JR's going to have a chance to deny that one, and I don't even know if these HELLRAISERS players want to commit to the engagements. I mean, there's no reason to save this weaponry forward into the next round, but maybe if they can deal economic damage and steal an AK, that would be a more beneficial job at the end of this one.
Yeah, maybe drop an AK. If they manage to save it, it's definitely worth it for them this round. They already got one gun down. Marcos is going to get peeked by the CZ. Takes a little bit of damage, and that's a Mac 10 kill, so that's a 600 extra bucks in his back pocket with the AK, trying to hold it down. A lot of damage being dealt. Only Kyler with the AK surviving. That is massive economic damage dealt to the side of AVEZ, and a very big win for HELLRAISERS there.
Don't think Flaric could get to a weapon at the end of the round, sadly. They do hefty damage from HELLRAISERS, and that means if they can secure a gun round, they're going to throw AVEZ's economy into a downward spiral, but they can't afford losses themselves. AVEZ are starting to pull ahead in their map pick at the moment, and if HELLRAISERS want to avoid us going on to a map 3, you have to say they need this gun round.
Marcos going for the shot, gets sprayed down in return though, but it is Kalinka falling in a different angle. The damage is pretty much equal between the two sides. You do still have that Opper in JR and Naurot left, but Naurot is down to 1 HP. Wow, that is lucky after the nade lands. Problem gonna peek towards ramp, does not spot anyone out just yet. But it does seem that they're gonna head towards the going for the outside play. With 3 smokes still left, they definitely could make a cross happen outside. 4 smokes, sorry. I keep forgetting that Naurot's still alive. It is so gray right there.
Indeed, it's a miracle that he is alive, but with an AWP available, he only needs a split second of his opponent's vision to find a kill. Jalem is really dancing with death at the moment, just peeking this outside angle. He's sticking around, and eventually Kai just picks him away from atop the silo. That was bound to happen. At least one of these players was going to get him on such low health. He don't know why he's going aggressive in that manner to try and garner the information, but with 30 seconds left, AVEZ have to attack a bomb site at this point. They have put themselves under an incredible amount of time pressure, and Problem has spotted out a player outside. Norut's found a kill onto JR, but with the time remaining, they have to commit to a site. It's going to be B, and they may just be able to get there in time. I don't think HELLRAISERS can contest this round anymore. They might just want to save these M4s.
They will get the bomb plant in, but the rotations are too slow. This is most likely already the safe call from HELLRAISERS. They got pretty close there. Now, if they manage to get him blown up by the bomb, that would be already a big win for them. He has to run a long way to not take a single point of damage, though.
I mean, so far, it doesn't look like they're interested in fighting. They're just backing out into garage, so he should be able to get away with his life. And that's 12 on the board for AVEZ. They're starting to pull out in front here on Nuke. I mean, HELLRAISERS, what are they going to save? 2 rifles forward? Their bank is completely wrecked. I don't even know if they can justify buying around them. It might just be the pistol call, because the utility is so limited otherwise, and you can't be baited into force buying without utility on Nuke. It's not an acceptable strategy to utilize. If HELLRAISERS do it, they're almost guaranteeing 13 rounds to their opponents.
Yeah, that's going to be the force up. They have an op on JR, Kalinka, and Kalinka's actually going to go for the XM. I mean, he is the bottom fragger of their team, so he's just going to play that close range angle, probably on top of blue. But HELLRAISERS, they need to update their game plan, because their pistol got them very close, but their rifle did not.
Not at all. And utility-wise, this buy isn't as bad as it first seemed, with Kalinka on the shotgun instead of the M4. he can get a smoke, flash, and nade alongside Problem. There aren't as many Molotovs as you'd like on a map like Nuke, but at least they have 2 available. There's utility to contest the round, but now it's do or die time. If they lose this, it's 13-7. AVEZ are then going to take 14-7 in the anti-eco, and we look ahead to our decider in that case. HELLRAISERS, perhaps their last chance now to contest this second map, and they need to do it in this gun round.
It is pretty crucial to win it here because HELLRAISERS, they have not won a single round on their CT side, which is definitely their favorite side. Shoots a little bit too early on JR and will be falling back. They have given away the fact that they pushed that ramp area. Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. Kai is of course going to win the duel against Jalen because Kai is absolutely amazing. 21 frags on him, really just carrying together with Kylar this AVEZ lineup into the next round every single time. Now gonna straight peek JR again. It seems, is he gonna go for the flashy play? Silent, but there is Kai going up in heaven against Problem, who is going to fall back towards ramp. They don't exactly know what kind of play there's coming, but it is going to be a hell play down below. Kai actually just walks out in heaven, and now it's all on Kalinka and Problem. Why is there no one holding the heaven spot? They know that Kai's outside. He just killed a player in mini, and they just let him push all the way. This is a big problem right now for them. There is absolutely no awareness on the side of HELLRAISERS whatsoever.
Almost the complete opposite. It feels, though, it's the complete opposite to the series prior. Both sides CT halves, leaving something to be desired. That was just what happened in that round from HELLRAISERS? I don't even... Was there a team speak issue? It looked like they just didn't speak to each other at all, and every single player just caught off guard, not anticipating there to be an AVEZ man in their face. At every point in time, it was just total annihilation. AVEZ basically take no damage in that round. Most of it is just from the bomb. I think Kai is the only person who takes a bullet there. That's a must-win round, and HELLRAISERS only put 1 bullet in their opponents.
Yeah, that's really, really problematic right now for HELLRAISERS. It seems like their CT communication is just lackluster at best. They will keep that AK into the next round, though. They're not completely out of it, but it is looking like this might go all the way for AVEZ on their map pick, of course.
They need just 3 more rounds, and against an ecoed HELLRAISERS, this is a good opportunity to secure one of them. Problem has an AK in hand for sure, but it's pistols and a scout elsewhere. JR overwhelmed, but Kalinka up close has found 2 massive kills. Problem stacking the ramp as well, can now help out with his team, and it's Nora who's going to try and creep up the ramp to take down Problem as the AWPer holds for that trophy room flank. Nora spots out his opponent and finds the headshot as well. Now the bomb needs to be recovered, but Marcos, he expects this flank and deals with the deagle. Flaric would need a 1v2 against an AK and an AWP, and with his 5-7, he's not in a spot in which he can recover any weaponry. It looks like he's going to try and push into ramp room from Hell, and right now he wouldn't catch the timing.
It's close though. Drops the bomb. Last man Marcos with the op. There's 40 seconds on the clock, and he's just going to try and fall back. He might just give him the bomb plant on the side of AVEZ, or make Marcos second guess himself constantly, because he could, for instance, have flanked all the way towards Secret and get behind. For instance, Marcos is just going to rush towards that B site and go for the plant behind the smoke. Maybe fake it out a couple of times. It is going to be an AK versus AK situation. Bomb plant coming in. He does expect him to come from ramp, though. But does Flaric expect Marcos so close? spray comes in, and the spray does not connect from Flares. Marcos does clutch it out. 14-7 now. 7 rounds difference between the two sides, and HELLRAISERS still have not secured a single round on their CT side.
That is really poor from HELLRAISERS on a map that previously they've had a lot of success on, a map that leans into the CT side, being the stronger half, and in their gun rounds, they've just found no space to work with. 14-7, a huge deficit to try and walk back from. They've got double AWPs out, but these two sniper rifles, they'd need to win so many consecutive rounds for HELLRAISERS even to have a chance. AVEZ misses out on the one tap, but he was just allowed to walk into secret completely for free. Drop. He walked outside there and got down the stairs, but Jalem has taken him down in the tunnels and won the first kill for his team.
A nice little shot coming in. It's unfortunately going to whiff. This time K is not going to beat Kalinka in mini, and a 2-man advantage for HELLRAISERS. Finally, they get something going their way, because they have absolutely been destroyed on their CT side. Their defense has been very weak. Their communication during their defense has been mainly the problem for so far. I've seen a lot of flanks coming in that they were unaware of, and positioning mistakes from the HELLRAISERS squad. It is going to be Marcus trying to peek through that battered squeaky door to see if he can spot ahead, but Kalinka is just going to be playing second vents to try and hold it out. It's going to be an outside push coming in from AVEZ to try and bait at least someone to walk towards mini. JR up in heaven does have that op in hand, so if anyone peeks into his crosshairs, he might be able to shut him down. That molly is going to push Kalinka off the angle, but he doesn't actually peek into Kalinka. Luckily, there is Kyler shutting Kalinka down, but in comes JR from heaven to jump up from Brent, and they will finally get around on the side of HELLRAISERS.
Takes them a while, but they have secured their first of the CT side, and they put 8 on the board. AVEZ, they are going to be buying through into this one to try and contest. Yeah, they know themselves that it is a long way back for HELLRAISERS if they want to have a chance at this second map. So they're just going to try and finish it off now and remove these double AWPs early. The longer they allow HELLRAISERS to live and survive with multiple players, the more bank that they build on the HR side, and the greater their chances become of mounting a successful comeback. But that is the perfect start from Kyler. Wrecks Jalem early, and Kalinka completely flashed around the corner. They eventually peek into him, but it's too late for HELLRAISERS. Problem alone on the AWP to deny AVEZ 15. He'd need a quad kill, and he won't even get to spawn to save the sniper. Now, HELLRAISERS economy in a tough spot, and AVEZ hunting down 16.
It's looking like they can't really get anything done here on the side of HELLRAISERS. They finally managed to win a round on the CT side, and immediately afterwards they get decimated by this AVEZ lineup. It is do or die for HELLRAISERS. Of course, they will still have one map to play afterwards, so it is not completely done yet. Both teams pretty decent on that last map, and that was the weirdest trade I've seen in a long time. He just jumps behind them, and that's going to be a nice shutdown coming in from HELLRAISERS. Peek out wide, Jalem gets rid of Bialy, and now it's Olin K and Kyler, but Kyler is going to plant the bomb towards B. Problem, does he expect Kai to be in that angle? He does expect the flank to come in from K, and will be starting to get some pop shots in. K, the bomb is not planted for him, does toss down the molly to try and get them off of the defuse, but that molly is actually ticking him down. He does keep them occupied for a while, but will not get much done in this round. I'm saying that does at least get rid of Flarge, but it is going to be the defuse coming in from JR, and HELLRAISERS, they hold on.
15-9, they stay alive, but the cash is just about still there for AVEZ to try and contest another map point. They're going to be bringing the buy forward here, and it looks as though train is guaranteed. It's just a case of when AVEZ decide to take us there. Mac 10 for Marcos, this time as Norit would rather hold the AWP in his hands. He has the head armor to work with, and AVEZ still have a good opportunity here when all the firepower is considered. And Kalinka on that shotgun, that's a situational weapon at best. Nora just found the first kill, but it's actually the shotgun combined with the Molotov that convert the second before Kai gets the third back in AVEZ's favor.
It's now a 4-on-3 situation. Problem towards the ramp. Is gonna go for a quick peek. Doesn't really spot anyone out, but because they only have 3 CTs left, that means the sites are very poorly defended outside. Kalinka is going to have to hold outside and Mini at the same time. They are heading towards the ramp position, though, where we do have problem. Oh, actually, he went all the way up on Heaven, so has a forfeited ramp so far, but is going to peek in. This is going to come down to timing. The flash comes out. Gets the spray down, gets rid of Marcos, but he's down to 16 HP. Throws the molly to try and keep them from pushing further forward towards that B site and will fall back. It is doable right now with a 3 versus 3. Kyler can't seem to break a window to save his life and will push forward to try and cover his teammates' bomb plant.
Yeah, you sort of have to stop and shoot with the guns in Counter-Strike, otherwise they're not very accurate. Kyler learns that perhaps just about in time as they can move in and defend the B bomb site now. 3-on-3 retake needed for HELLRAISERS to stay alive in map 2 and avoid us heading to a decider. Problem on 16 HP, advancing, looking for a kill, but Kyler rips his head to pieces. Kalinka and Flaric now trying to advance, but Kalinka's the only man who's found kills. He's opened the doors on to Kyler. He's running around the flank, but there's no time for him to win the round. And AVEZ have gotten it done. Bialy with the last kill, and AVEZ with a convincing performance here on their T side of Nuke. They get the work done, and they take us to a decider of Train.
Well, it does seem today that today is the day of terrible CT sides so far. It's another map where we just see a complete disaster coming on a defensive side. I mean, Train is again slightly CT sided for most teams. It seems HELLRAISERS actually do prefer the T side there, but it is gonna come down to AVEZ's defense. I think the knife round is probably going to be another run of something that has to be beneficial. But what is this defense so far coming in from HELLRAISERS? They got annihilated by AVEZ. They got almost nothing there and just constantly shut down without any communication on their side. They need to recover from this. Otherwise, Train is going to be a definite loss for them.
2 rounds on the CT side of Nuke is all that HELLRAISERS are able to accomplish on arguably the most CT-sided map in the pool. The defensive sides are in haywire, and we are going the distance again in our quarterfinals. Map 3 of Train is on the way after this quick break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. It's gone the distance again in our second quarterfinal of the day. We have map 3 of Train waiting in the wings, and it'll be ready in just a few moments. My name is Protalis, and joining me for this remainder of this best of 3 series is, of course, DK Truman. How are you feeling heading into our final map of the day?
I'm feeling like it's going to be OT between these two teams. Train is probably, of these maps, the one with the... You need the strongest opera on Train.
Yeah.
Compared to Inferno, Nuke, and Train. Train is the most diverse map with the opera there. Uncountable amounts of angles that you can hold. Long-range engagements between every train. You've got Ivy, you've got Hell, you've got Pop Dog control, you've got so many different angles you can peek from, and that's only on A so far. And you need a star opera to actually shut them down. Again, they have had decent op performances, but it has been mainly the riflers that have been playing the game. It's been on AVEZ's side, Kyler and Kay, that have been shutting everyone down. And on HELLRAISERS, it has been Kalinka with his R8. Nah, just kidding. It's been Flarich mainly who has been stepping up to the plate as... actually, it's been Kalinka, it seems, so far on both maps, but that's the second map on Nuke. He actually was pretty lackluster, whereas K, look at that.
Yeah.
Almost 60 frags in 2 maps. That is an absolute beast performance.
He has been an absolutely wicked carry for the AVEZ side in this best of 3. 60 kills nearly in 2 maps. That is absolutely ridiculous. And as we hunt down Train as a third, he has an opportunity to extend those kills even further. And in the individual head-to-head, Kalinka is on the other side of this matchup, and he has really not been doing too great in terms of the fragging, running negative in the series so far. He definitely showed signs of life over on Inferno and a little bit on the T side of Nuke as well. But really the issue for HELLRAISERS, it feels, throughout this series has been those CT sides, in which the fragging has just been fundamentally deficient for HR, and heading into Train, that could be a real problem for them.
Yeah, exactly. It is going to be a problem. I mean, K literally can clean up this everyone on his own. I'm pretty big fan so far, if you haven't noticed, of K's performance in this series, and JR really has to step up with the this this map, because they need that star performance of him. This is such a heavy op map that normally I just go for the team that has the strongest opera, but I honestly think that Marcos and JR are pretty close and similar in playstyle with the ops as well.
Yeah,
not going for those massively aggressive peaks, more leaned back and tried to hold the long range engagements and hopefully win that. Sometimes JR gets a little bit aggressive, but then again, sometimes he blindly jumps through smokes and gets his head blown off. So he has to find a balance between those two, and I do think that CT side, of course, again, is going to be pretty important for both sides. I mean, I'm saying that, but then again, what do I know? Every team sucks on CT today.
Well, exactly. And I think that is going to be the real decider in this series. I think it could come down to who has the better CT half, really. I mean, you just looked all day in this series at bare minimum, and both of these sides just have not shown anything special. It's not looked like a successful defense on either map for either side. I would say that AVEZ did a better job at defending over on Inferno, perhaps, than HELLRAISERS managed to accomplish on that map. So there is a little bit of a silver lining there, maybe, for the AVEZ CT side heading into this one. But the issue really is going to be that CT leadership. I think that there's going to be a distinct T side round advantage at the end of this first half. And whoever starts on the CT side, it's got to be about minimizing those losses as much as possible. Less gamble play style for my opportunity, and perhaps maybe more opportunities for retakes. We've seen all day basically no retakes be attempted in favor of players trying to save their weapons in those economic scenarios. Perhaps it's time to attempt them, because just saving on the CT side and continually getting beaten is not a successful strategy.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that. It was a lot of saved rounds so far in this map and in this series and in the previous series. It does mean that they keep on edging away every round after round. You see two of your players drop. Eventually, you're going to have to go for the retake. You're going to have to go for a play. Even though you're 2v3 and they have perfect post plan, it is still possible. If you have at least a flash, you can get one angle cleared, and then you can just walk up site and see what happens. If you lose it, hey, tough luck, you'll try. If you never go for the retake, you'll always lose the round. And they need to get back on site ASAP, because they are absolutely getting destroyed on these defensive sides. If they just, they lose one player and they're like, okay, I'm out, and then just run away, try to hide their op, which then gets hunted down sometimes as well. It's the CT sides have been lackluster. Also, as you said on Nuke, the especially the communication for HELLRAISERS was just not there. They didn't know. They didn't know what could get flanked. They didn't know what was open. They didn't know who peeked what of their own team. So every single time you just saw, for instance, Kai getting to heaven without not even a single call made that, hey, be careful, I'm leaving hell, I'm not in heaven, I'm going towards ramp. Everything is open.
You're absolutely right there. That was definitely an issue that HELLRAISERS had on Nuke, and we are ready to get our and final map underway. AVEZ versus HELLRAISERS, the knife round, and both sides probably going to be arguing over who gets to start T if today is anything to go by. The CT sides for either team really nightmarish, and I mean, I'm personally just going to be interested to see what the loot bet odds are when they do come through, because I'm trying to look at this as an early prediction. Normally, I like looking through the past wins and losses as well. They give you a bit more of an insight into the statistics that provide the win rate. But to be honest with you, it really could go either way. Mixed effectiveness for either side so far on trade. And for me on this map, it is a total coin toss. We'll have to see whether or not those odds from our partners over at LootBet agree with me.
It will be HELLRAISERS starting on that coveted CT side, but if I'm not mistaken, they have a higher win rate on their T side as well on this map. Just like on, I think it was Inferno, that they also had a higher T side. So they're not out of it yet if they would lose their CT side, for instance. And our partners at LootBet do show that the odds are 1.71 for AVEZ and 2.02 for the Red Eyebrows. And I do have to agree with them there. I think AVEZ are slightly stronger as a team currently.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that. The difference is so minor anyway that it is virtually a 50-50, with AVEZ having the slight edge in terms of odds. Now, the bomb site is firmly under AVEZ's control in this pistol as Kai finds the second kill. Problem has two pistols to utilize, and Kalinka's found two quick headshots, but now Marcos has taken him down. Flaric on 10 HP means Problem has to do work with these dualies, and Kai just takes him down again. Flaric on 10 HP now takes one body shot to remove him from the round, and all of AVEZ bail out to the B bomb site to secure a free plant.
Yeah, that was a quick move in from AVEZ. HELLRAISERS seem to be completely caught unaware of the aggression from AVEZ, and they just lose all the straight-up duels as well. And that's going to be the opening round for AVEZ. Flaric might try and get himself a kill somewhere so that he can at least get another 300 bucks in his back pocket, but it's very unlikely with the positioning of the rest of these AVEZ players. So he'll just keep his body armor and take it into the next round, where he'll, I assume, stay with the body armor and not upgrade to head armor.
Probably going to be what happens in that second round when all is said and done. And He's just about going to get away alive there. 2 HP allows him to survive. And heading forward, a MAC-10 or another SMG, even a Galil, is going to have increased damage against his unarmored head. But he's not the only unarmored player available for that Hellraiser side. There are 3 of them trying to utilize scraps of weaponry, pistols and scouts to work with to try and get some work done in this second round and avoid the early AVEZ 3-0.
Starting off with a double scout setup for Hellraiser's defense here with a little bit of extra money, so if he can get himself a kill, he could possibly buy an op in the third round, of course. I don't know if 700 is necessarily enough. Normally they do eco it at about 1300. But Jalem is going to be playing close angles with that deagle. Will get executed by Bialy, opening frag for AVEZ, and they're going to fall back. They're playing very passively here on the side of AVEZ, with Kalinka actually picking up the scout. Does mean we won't see if he has the R8. This time Bialy gets rid of Kalinka as well, and now it is all on JR and Problem. Will they get anything done? JR on site tries to get a tag going, but he will at least get a tag, but it is now Problem with another round that he can't get anything done.
Just has to back away with the deagle. AVEZ, they don't lose anybody in this second round scenario. The perfect start to train as they go for the 2-0 and should convert 3-0 in the should take it 3-0 at the start of train here. There's going to be an eco coming through in the next round from Hellraisers, so it should be the easy conversion from AVEZ. Starting strong on the T side, it's what we expected. And if it's AVEZ who can put out a good performance here on their T side, that bodes very well for them, as traditionally they are stronger on the defensive side of this map.
Yeah, and I do have a lot more faith in AVEZ's defense than Hellraisers, of course. Even though it did look a little bit lackluster in the beginning on Inferno, but they did recover once K went complete bananas and started chucking some corpses on the floor. It is going to be a almost full eco on the side of Hellraisers, a couple of upgraded pistols and 2 HE grenades. They might go for the double tag in T main. And that's probably their plan right here. See if they can get a catch from... Okay, no, they're keeping those HE grenades intact so far. But it shouldn't amount to a lot here on the side of Hellraisers. They are going to go for the aggressive, for the heavy A stack. See if they can get themselves at least a kill. 2 kills, and they already did enough in the round. Problem is actually playing up with that deagle inside heaven, but the moment they spot him out, they should spam him completely.
It's just a passive one here from AVEZ. They are avoiding wandering into a stacked up bomb site if humanly possible, but they've dropped a double smoke back towards Ivy. So it looks like they are just going to be walking straight into it. Kyler takes down JR, no issue whatsoever. Problem still alive on the deagle, but the rest of his team have just been wrecked. He's got 2 with that pistol, so he's making it expensive. Landing these spam shots at bare minimum, but eventually he is cleaned up by an AK-47. AVEZ do secure their 3rd round, and Hellraisers with the first full gun round on the CT side. Now we get to see whether their defensive half of this map is any stronger than the 2 maps prior.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be, pretty much interesting to say at least. JR on the op. They're not going to invest into an op on the side of AVEZ, which on the T side, it is actually a pretty doable map to op yourself, especially if you go for a quick peek towards A. But JR needs to anchor down that A site easily with the op, because they are in need of a solid defense here. They're going to get super aggressive. They already went out Ivy. Now they're going to push T main. Jalem does give away his position. He's getting sprayed through the wall. Tagged down to 30 HP. But they do have a lot of map advantage here on the side of Hellraisers. However, because of these positions coming up from Hellraisers, they know that there's probably going to be a B push coming in, and they are actually herding them like sheep all the way to that B side. Problem is going to peek up in heaven and might get caught if he's not aware. It does seem JR is holding that long area, and they're going to go for the bait and switch. JR just spots him out in the last second. But there is going to be problem close range. Just peek in versus Naurot. There's going to be the Bialy trade coming in. JR does shut down K. Is jumping all over the place. Molly comes in. That was a weird bounce from the Molly to actually explode into nothingness and up in high. The Sky Flareage is going to get the kill onto Kyler on site. Bialy canceled his bomb plant initially. Will get taken down. And finally, HELLRAISERS do show a little bit of that CT defense.
They get it done in B with 4 alive, importantly, in their first gun round. JR keeping the AWP in hand, the expensive sniper. It's important to have retained that one. And AVEZ, they still have cash to bring a buy forward. Marcos has got 9k in the bank, so you can bet your bottom dollar that AKs are coming out in this round. He'll even invest into an AWP for himself. And AVEZ aren't done fighting for these early stages just yet, but that was a very clean round there from HELLRAISERS.
It was a very nice one. Luckily, they did get the bomb plant in, so they always have some extra cash in the bank because of it. However, it is looking like that heavy aggression from HELLRAISERS was pretty nice there. Jalem jumps up on site, knows that there is Naurot towards Electric. Kind of would need a player. Yeah, there's the Molly from his teammate to try and flush out Naurot, who's going to rush through the smoke, and expected by Jalem. Great shot to get rid of Naurot and the man advantage in favor of HELLRAISERS.
AVEZ decide not to aggress any further into this A bomb site. They've got a serious problem now because they have 1 smoke left, 3 flashes. That's pretty much it in terms of blinding utility. They've got a molly to force out angles, but this is not enough utility to root out a heftily defended A bomb site. There's a smoke available for the CTs still. They still have mollies and flashes available as well. And they've burned out so much time from the round that this is going to be a rather high pressure late round push from AVEZ.
It definitely is going to be exactly that. Okay, gonna peek in, has that AK in hand. Kalinka does possibly get shot from the side if he is not fast enough on that move. Okay, close range. There we go. The execution comes in, and the call has been made. JR does shut down Marcos towards Pop Dog. The rotations from the CTs is there quickly. Actually, Bialy just blindly walks up. No one is looking behind side. Gets a double spray down while completely blind as well. And Kyler gets the final shot onto JR. Triple kill for Bialy. How does no one... I mean, I know there was a molly, but still, no one spots him out whatsoever.
It's allowed AVEZ their 4th round. That was really a shock one for HELLRAISERS to lose. I don't think they were anticipating to fall foul in round number 5, and now in number 6 they are struggling now. They are going to be under high pressure. 3 rifles on the board, supported by just 2 SMGs, and Kalinka is actually glass cannon on that. Or beautiful nade though down into T-Con. The molly denies the early exit from that angle by AVEZ as well, and they are even reconsidering this whole round off the back of it.
They're going to get aggressive, though, on HELLRAISERS. They have a lot of aggression on their CT side defense, though. They're trying to clear out T-main, but AVEZ is letting them the entire time. Just let them get close. It doesn't matter. They still will have the execute on their side. The utility definitely does favor them. Bialy going in for the quick peek. And Kalinka does have the op. Actually, it's surprising that Kalinka's the one opping instead of JR this round.
That is a really perplexing call. I'm assuming it's because he was just the player with enough money to invest in, and he doesn't have any body armor anyway. So on a rifle, he's just going to be way less effective than he is on a sniper. And it is a lower round from AVEZ, but they've baited so much presence into this A bomb site that all they have to do is take down problem in B, and they should have the site given away completely for free. They're trying to draw more players in with an A utility dump, Dropping smokes from Ivy as well, but this is all a ruse to make their way into the B bomb site, and the rotations are on the way in. AVEZ have waited too long for this one and overplayed their hand slightly, but they've trashed Kalinka at close range. Brilliant headshot from Bialy. His problem on the flank could get a kill back, but Bialy turns around in time. JR's found Norit, but it's a 4-on-3 retake now for HELLRAISERS in B. Jalem's got one back, but Kai takes him down, and Flaric alone might just want to walk away.
Yep, and it's all on that defense of HELLRAISERS getting crushed. They took it down to the wire from AVEZ, but they just let them pass through from Ivy all the way towards BCT. And with that, it's a pretty clear-cut round. The defense of HELLRAISERS was just not ready for that push all the way in the end.
It really wasn't possible for HELLRAISERS in that round, and now they might have to drop onto an eco as well. They really can't afford the full investment in round number 7. And AVEZ, they look for the 6-1 lead on the T side here of Train. This is brilliant news for them because traditionally they're stronger on the CT side. So if they can keep scoring in this offensive half, keep making moves and keep putting rounds on the board, if they just get 3 more, they'll have the guaranteed advantage in the half. And HELLRAISERS would not be happy with that one.
Yeah, no, this is not looking too good. I mean, HELLRAISERS did recover last map as well. Sorry, not last map, but was it them recovering in the I think in the first one. Last one, wait, was it AVEZ? I can't even remember what happened. Bro, it's too warm.
Well, it was the Bialy flank triple kill leads into the round that allows the HELLRAISERS execution to come in on that B bomb site. It looks like AVEZ are going much more quickly into A this time as Norit's tagged down for just 10 as he gets through the Molotov. Marcos removes JR as well, and this round has already started off brilliantly for AVEZ until Flaric takes down Kyler at close range. Now it gets risky, but with the R rate falling, Flaric has an AK, but he's so far away from the A bomb site that Jalem needs to defend here. Marcos gets caught off guard, de-scoping, and still this kill has not been found. Eventually, Jalem will fall, but now the connector rotations are in place.
And the defense is possible here for HELLRAISERS. However, oh, never mind. Jalem, sorry, a problem gets rid of Naurot. Close range, it's all on Flaric and problem to try and defend the bomb site. They could rotate towards B if necessary, but they have a molly and they're not using any of the utility here on the AVEZ side. K is getting close range towards Flaric. Does not have the bomb under control. Does miss the spray onto Flaric, and Flaric is going to stay alive. Should be able to secure that bomb pickup, but turns his back towards Connector. What is this round from AVEZ? They get shut down by a terrible buy coming in from HELLRAISERS. Not using their utility at all and just turning their backs to every enemy they see.
Now we have the opportunity to talk about Hellcase, the biggest and most well-known case opening website that features almost 100 cases. The upgraded case battle, the upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and absolutely loads more unique features. AVEZ, they should not have lost control of that round. Even after Jalem goes down, it's a 3-on-2. If they'd have played more tightly together, they'd have won that one out. Instead, they sort of tunnel visioned in on the A bomb site and focused on just trying to win the round here and now, rather than gaining map control and assessing correctly, as they've done throughout the rest of this first half, the positions of HELLRAISERS.
Yeah, exactly. They need to I mean, HELLRAISERS had a decent defense there, but they're now picking up the double op setup as well. So you have those that pretty decent advantage for HELLRAISERS. They've got massive utility advantage on their side as well. They even have enough money in their bank for a decent buy the next round. So they're going to need to go big and not go full potato this round. JR is getting super aggressive with that up. This is absolutely dangerously close. And Bialy, of course, is going to shut him down. What were you thinking, JR? No backup whatsoever. Just drop the up immediately. These are the aggressive moves that can cost him the game. It's completely shut down. Round's over. Jalem does get a kill in return, but they can't retake this B bomb site, and immediately, like in the first 20 seconds, this round is already over.
Flaric and Jalem, they're going to retreat and save these AKs, but you're absolutely right. AVEZ just dominate that one with 3 quick kills in towards the B bomb site, and there's nothing HELLRAISERS can do to keep them out. 6-2 lead for AVEZ on the T side of Train. Bodes very well for them heading forward throughout the remainder of this match. Especially if they can win this half overall. They'd only need 2 more rounds to do it, and that would have HELLRAISERS on the back foot.
Yes, they do have a decent buy though. JR immediately picks up the op. Well, if he's gonna go for that aggressive move, I mean, this is like Inferno all over again, where JR goes for those crazy plays that 90% of them don't really pay off because he gets shut down, and that puts his teammate towards B in a very unfavorable position. It is doable, of course. It is not unheard of, but not in a must-win round right now where, like, he was such a big investment for them, and he gets nothing done with that op. He's on 3 frags so far in 8 rounds, and he's supposed to be their star opper at IGL. He needs to really step up his game here because they need him to show that star power that we know he is capable of. Otherwise, they might get shut down out of this map completely.
Much slower this time from AVEZ, playing that chess match style, trying to draw HELLRAISERS defense all around the map. Deploy utility to confuse HELLRAISERS, bait out as much counter utility as you possibly can, and hopefully it looks like they want to draw a 3rd player into the B bomb site. They have now accomplished that as JR has walked in quickly through connector, but both these AVEZ players are deep in the back of B. The smokes are waiting to go down into the A bomb site, so this could all yet be a fake. Instead, it looks like Bialy wants to push into T-Con and draw more rotations over into B. Entry found by Nora. That's going to draw rotations into the B bomb site now, but where do they take the bomb? Flaric is still alive, and he's found a massive double kill. Nobody checks his angle, and now they have to make their way out onto A with 20 seconds remaining.
Plinka hiding inside the smoke. Bullets flying past him. Close range no scope from Marcos. Does know that JR was in connect. He's gonna go for the bomb plan, but on the bomb side he tries to go for the hero play, but Kai drops him. Jalem from long range double spray down, gets both Marcos and K, and will get that bomb defuse going. A nice round for HELLRAISERS right there. Excellent job from Flaric towards B to hold with the shots before he sees the 2nd player coming forward, and then holds down that site. Nice defense coming out from HELLRAISERS, something they really desperately needed. They're going to go for the double op again, and the money situation. AVEZ still have a solid enough buy for this round, but HELLRAISERS, they need to really string some rounds together, because it is definitely going to be tough against AVEZ's CT side on Train.
Train a CT-sided map as well, and AVEZ, a team who appear to be strong on it. Definitely a situation that the Poles may be looking forward to, as long as they can have a decent enough go at the rest of this half. There's 6 rounds left to be played, and again, I think if AVEZ can just win 2 of them, they'd have the 1 round advantage at the end of this half guaranteed, but it looks like this one's going to be far more difficult for AVEZ to accomplish. Kyler wrecked by Jalem early, but Nora with the smoke is able to recover the AK and keep 4 rifles on the board.
Yeah, Jalem down to 5 HP. Does need only a slight tag against his left toe, and then he will fall flat. But it is a pretty decent A stack so far for HELLRAISERS. 4 players around that area, 1 playing the Ivy. Shot's gonna whip from Jalem, but he peeks out wide and will get shut down. JR gets a kill onto K, and close range Flaric playing that white box perfectly. Marcos does finish him off, but it is going to be a 1 versus 3 situation. It's actually kind of surprising. Jalem, and because Jalem got tagged, JR gave him the op, and then you had 2 ops on the side of Hellraisers, and both of them were not being wielded by JR at that time. However, Kalinka with his op does come in to shut down Marcos, so that is the secondary opper reigning supreme. 4 rounds for Hellraisers. AVEZ, they don't really have a solid buy, and this is going to be an eco force, or, you know, well, a couple of upgraded pistols, but that is about it.
Hellraisers chasing down the Tide scoreline now. 2 more rounds necessary from them in order to accomplish that goal. At bare minimum, they'd have 6 rounds on the CT side. They're a stronger T side themselves, so that wouldn't be too nightmarish, but I think both sides would be happy to take away an 8-7. They'd just be fighting for the round advantage either way. Kalinka in Ivy is about to get peeked by 4 pistols simultaneously. He takes one of them down and drops a close Molotov, but he is being rushed down. That smoke buys him room to maneuver from the T's, actually, as he can escape straight through it. Little did AVEZ know what room they'd be giving the AWP there. Bialy's found Jalem in the back, and Flaric wants to be careful here. The Glock's just taken him down in a one-on-one engagement. This round is getting expensive for Hellraisers.
Yep, it's very expensive because you should never win with a Glock in that situation. Kyla just jumps down from the boost spot and will get taken out. Bialy sprayed down as well, and that is JR chiming in to finish off K. They will keep 3 guns alive, including the 2 ops, but 2 players down for like 2 P250s a Deagle and 2 Glocks or something. That's an investment that a trade that AVEZ definitely will love to make.
Certainly that is the case as we head into round number 12. Hellraisers need just 1 more to tie up that scoreline and come back from the 6-1 deficit. That would be great work on the CT side from them, and if they were able to put up a decent skew of rounds at that point in time, then they would be in the miraculous position. Problem going aggressive, has to back away. He's only baiting for JR, though. That is a brilliant bait and switch up towards the back of B. 3 opening kills secured until Norat, he actually aggresses through Ivy unanticipated and demolishes Kalinka on the other side, and that's created a bit of an issue in the A-bomb site, as now it's Jalem alone defending, and the rotations are coming back into the A-bomb site a little bit too slowly. But problem, Jalem just saves his life there with a shot in the back of the head, and AVEZ, they don't know it, but they have a free bomb site to walk into. Instead, they're going to try and fight the 3-on-3 on A, and these are great rotations from HR.
They finally managed to get back on site. Double kill coming in. Kyler on site does get taken out by Problem from behind, and that is JR lucky because he just whiffed that shot completely, and it's tied 6-6 between Hellraisers and AVEZ. They had such a solid chance, especially with that flank, but there was the beautiful Jalem save coming in to keep his buddy alive.
All tied up then, 6 apiece as Hellraisers are starting to build some CT side momentum. There are 3 rounds remaining in the first half. Which way will they go? It's a force from AVEZ here, not the total investment, but it looks like they do want to commit out of T-Con. At least they won't be able to for now, as the CT utility has kept them at bay, so they will await the expenditure of these early mollies. They're being hemmed in at the moment and really denied any kind of map control. And Kyler, though, he's found the opening frag onto Jalem.
And with Jalem already down, he was the one that saved them last round. It's another one for Kyla with the scout coming in clutch. Flaric is the last one on that A site defense, and it does seem that they're heading towards the A site. JR has the aggressive hold towards B, and now they're rotating around to try and defend this 2 M4s. If they get 1 more kill on AVEZ with the Deagle, for instance, they have a very solid shot. A little bit of a tag to Flaric. Does need to be careful for the long-range scout tag to come through. Oh, wait, that's actually Marcos with the op. That's even scarier. The flash will blind Marcos off completely, but Kyla with another headshot. My God, he's going to get the full ace with that thing. They are being flanked in the meantime from teammate. Bomb is going to get planted. He's trying to get the bomb planted, but Bialy does shut him down with the Deagle. Will they expect the flank, though, from Pop Dog? Close range, Bialy is going to get taken out. Turn around, jump away. Gets himself into... connector, but the deagle comes through from JR to shut it down. That was an insane round, so close from Kyler. Could have actually ran towards the B side to go for the bomb plant, but unfortunately decided to try and take the duel because he did feel that he was up for it.
Yeah, he was wrong, unfortunately, with his choice. Could have had a plan, could have had some bonus money for his side. And that could have meant the difference as well, perhaps, in additional utility for players like Marcos if they need to invest into an AWP. A mistake at the death of the round there causes AVEZ to lose out on the 2-on-1 engagement and give HELLRAISERS 7. They now could close out a 9-6 CT half, which is definitely what they'll be hungry for on the final map of this quarterfinal. 2 more rounds to go in the half, and if HELLRAISERS pick this one up, their opponents will be on a dodgy bye in the last of the half. Likewise, the scenario is true for the AVEZ side.
This round pretty much decides who is gonna win the half. So both teams are definitely using their A game. Another quick fast rush from Bialy. Oh wait, no, that's not Bialy, that is Nauro in Sandwich. Gets flares from behind because he already rushed towards Sandwich. Jalem does finish off Skylar, and the smoke comes in. Nauro close range, spam through the smoke. Kalinka does not even consider Nauro to still stand behind the smoke. Peek out wide from Jalem, and that is going to put it a 4 versus 2 situation. We have JR and Problem, the last two standing. Problem actually only on a UMP. JR does have the op, but if he drops it right now, he will not be able to afford one in the last round. And Marcos gets rid of Problem, so JR is probably going to be forced to save, unless he actually expects to be able to completely shut down this. But it was almost a lineup as well coming through, but they should be able to get the bomb plant down on site safely without any interruption of JR whatsoever.
I don't see why he'd even want to try this retake. His team has no money left. There's still a round left in this half. That AWP would have been really useful in the follow-up round, but instead perhaps he felt hemmed in and pressured to commit. It doesn't work out. 7 rounds given over to the AVEZ side at minimum. They now look to hunt down a 1-round advantage from the T side of Train. AVEZ are in a great position going forwards if they can get it, but because of this balanced scoreline, so much of that second half momentum is going to be based on the second pistol.
Yes, and this is actually a game where so far K has not really started popping off. They do manage to get themselves a double kill so far. Nice catch from JR. Good headshot onto Nauro, giving them a shot to win this one. Bialy executed as well by Problem. The close range deagle coming in. Plays the one-way smoke. Well, actually just a weird smoke in general. And they're going to rotate towards the B side, spam through towards Pop Dog, but they are already almost towards B. And K with that op gets a kill onto JR. One-way smoke himself. Molly towards connector, and the bomb is going to get planted so it can be held aggressively towards Trains at the back of B.
2v3, one aggressing from connector, one from the back of site. Flasher front Kalinka, but Kai lands the shot completely blind. Problem is left alone with that frag. He's aggressing in, he's looking around, but he's not hitting shots, and that lets Kai secure a triple, and AVEZ hunt down that elusive round advantage. They secure it at the end of the half, and AVEZ now heading over into the second, their stronger CT side of this map as well. They look like they might just be in an advantageous position heading forward. Look at the kills from AVEZ and HELLRAISERS. They're fairly balanced, with AVEZ taking the slight advantage. And our betting partners over at LootBet seem to have incredible confidence that AVEZ are going to be able to get it done now.
Yeah, it does seem the more likely option of the two as well. I definitely do agree with those odds. They could have really used that op in that last round. JR should have tried to go for that save previously, but that is dwelling on the past, and we're now living in the present. AVEZ, what is their defense going to entail? They're playing 2 players in Pop, 1 on site, who is a quick rotate towards B, and now rots towards Ivy, who is tagged slightly, has the defuse kit, already used the smoke, but they're already in the back lines of Old Bomb. Norod gets a headshot on a jumping Flarich, and they might actually be stuck in CT if they're not careful here on the side of HELLRAISERS. They're playing the long con game. Kylo does need to be very careful of his angle, of course. Will get taken out by Kalinka, but look at that. Kalinka's the last man actually standing. Everyone else got annihilated on this HELLRAISERS side. And Kalinka, he's down to 2 HP, and Marcos will finish the job.
That was so sad.
Yeah, that was. They had a great flank coming in, but the push from B just took too long.
It's so sad for Kalinka even at the end of the round, because he gets a headshot pretty much at long range by the pistol, and that leaves him on 2 HP, so he can't even drop into the B site and fight from there because he would just take too much damage on the drop. He has to run forward straight into his opponent's crosshairs and just gets tapped away completely. AVEZ pick up the pistol, and with this HELLRAISERS eco, they might just be able to convert a 10th as well. Chalem, though, trying to make sure this round is as difficult for AVEZ as it could possibly be.
Yeah, and especially with that R8 revolver for Kalinka, you should not feel sorry for him anymore, because he's playing your favorite gun in the world. Kept it all 3 maps so far, and let's see, I think he has 2 kills on it in total.
I mean, I didn't know that R8 players actually existed in the pro level. I can't lie to you. Norit peeks out Ivy and confirms that there is still HELLRAISERS presence there, so there shouldn't be too much of a rotation in towards the B bomb site just yet, as HR are yet to fully commit. And with a minute left on the clock, they are starting to creep forward, edging into the A bomb site, where 3 defenders from AVEZ remain.
Oh, that R8 damage though. Peeks back out, and Naurot does shut down Kalinka from behind. That's a scout shot. I missed the old R8 when it first came out. It was just close range opping.
I don't.
A lot of damage is now being dealt to HELLRAISERS in return. Kai and Marcos both chime in, and he was being flanked, so Kai turns around. That's actually one of the more crucial points. Before the last couple of rounds, Kai was like on, I think he won 7 kills in, and he got a triple in that last round of the last map, and now is already on 14 frags. He just doubled his score in like 3 rounds.
Starting to wake up, perhaps, on the CT side. We'll have to see, as this buy is very, very interesting from AVEZ. They purchased SMGs into this. I think they saw Deagles and expected them to be supported by body armor in that round, and so they've only brought the SMGs forward into this one, but they're against the total full buy now, and I don't think they've expected it. Kai only gets 1 kill. JR's found a triple entry in T-Con. He's killed every single AVEZ player trying to aggress. Now, Marcos will eventually shut him down and bring it into a 2 versus 3, but this is still a tough spot for AVEZ to be in.
Especially with the HELLRAISERS squad heading towards the B site. You might just go for a safe call if you're not fast enough on that rotation towards B before the bomb goes down. It does seem that Kyla does smell something up and is heading towards that B area. Could catch out. Oh, yeah, he definitely saw the jump down, so should expect a player close towards oil. Bomb has been planted. Which is, of course, problem. If he plays upper, he can easily execute problem right there. If he just jumps up and crawls forward, they might do this. They have a defuse kit on Kyla, so he needs to stay alive through everything. And there it is gonna be. It's gonna be Kyla getting rid of problem. The last 2 players are both doubling down on ramp, though.
They have a molly too. They should just be able to drop this Molotov from the upper angle anyway, and Kyla has no chance of securing that round. Kalinka finds both kills, but it is going to be the round going the way of HELLRAISERS. They go up to 8, and AVEZ, they, I think, expected an eco round in that last one. They got shell-shocked somewhat on the A bomb site by JR, who just made a mockery of all 3 players walking into him, crushed them all, and now HELLRAISERS have an opportunity here to punish an AVEZ buy that's absent utility, and if they did it, they'd be looking at an eco round in the next one. That's an easy tied scoreline.
Yeah, this is problematic, but it's definitely not out just yet. Kai getting aggressive in Pop Dog. So far, if Flares peeks into him, could be in a little bit of a problem. There's going to be the Molly at the backside, and Flarich, he's going to throw a flash down. Will he actually jump down? He's trying to get the jiggle peek going, but Kai right beneath the Molly is about to extinguish, so he can fall back instead. They are going to push in towards that A site, and Kai does get rid of JR, gets shut down in return, but Naurot already gets rid of Kalinka, and now it's a man advantage for AVEZ. They do have pretty much, they have absolutely no utility left, so whatever comes out from HELLRAISERS with the 2 flashes and the smoke, that's everything that was left in this round. They haven't decided on a site just yet. A little bit of tag damage coming in, but it is going to be a straight duel between these 2 sides. With a triple stack from AVEZ towards that A site, it is very doable right here. Marcos on site, he's very terrified of what these HELLRAISERS players might do. Of course, the AKs do have a nice advantage. Jalem is going to get shot by the scout. So Marcos does look for that weakened target, gets the spray down. Flares is going to die on the side, speaks out wide. Kyler shuts all 3 players chiming in for a kill right there, and AVEZ get the secure round. HELLRAISERS, their money is also shot into oblivion, and they're in a world of hurt right now because AVEZ are on 11 rounds.
They have to drop down onto pistols. That's potentially 12-8 now for AVEZ on the CT side of Train, and HR are going to call a timeout off the back of that idea. They want to have a bit more of a tactical conversation, not necessarily about what they're doing in this upcoming round, but what will happen in the round following it. They've invested so heavily into utility here. This isn't an eco anymore. This is a very hearty cash dump into the round. Flarich has only got $250 remaining in the bank. They've changed their minds. They were going to eco this round, but during the timeout, they've decided to call for a force and try and deny 12 to AVEZ.
That's a risky play. Of course, if they would lose this, they'd have to eco, and that would put them at least 13-8. And at that point, especially because AVEZ is on the CT side, you'd be looking at game over for HELLRAISERS. So this is do or die. This is the round they need to win. 1 Galil is their only real weapon that they have. The rest is just pistols and utility. JR is actually keeping a little bit of extra money in the bag so that he can buy an op in 2 rounds if they will not win this one. And it does seem to be an aggressive B push coming out. They should rotate in quickly as well on AVEZ. They do expect it, yes. K is already on his way. Marcus is holding upper, and close on site is going to be Kyler. There is going to be a rain of utility flying through everywhere onto the side. Look at the mollies, flashes, everything, but on site, Kyler does get a tag and a lot of damage being dealt. The nade comes flying out, and close range, they did so much damage. Will they even lose a single player here? Kyler would be the only one possibly dying. He will get executed by JR, but it is JR versus 4, and he has so many angles to cover, he won't even get the plant in. JR will get shut down by Bialy, and that is 12-8 in favor of HELLRAISERS. If you're going to go for that play where you're just going to rush down B, please do it without going for a full investment.
12-8 up are AVEZ. It's just pistols for HELLRAISERS now to deny 13. That force buy did not work out whatsoever. Just a total failure in the B bomb site. And Kalinka now the only piece of utility in his hands, the solitary HE. He deploys it into the A bomb site, does 0 points of damage, and then his teammate JR gets ruined by Marcos. Kyler's removed problem from this one as Marcos has now taken down Jalem as well. Things go from bad to worse. Kai's looking at Pop Dog, and he doesn't realize that there is a player on the right-hand side of his screen. I'm assuming that's the black bars there in full effect. But Kalinka, he's alone now. He's got no body armor, just the Deagle spamming away. AVEZ, that's 13 secured. How are they going to defend to put 14 on the board?
There's a pretty tough game so far for HELLRAISERS. They did not do that well on their CT side, and their T side, which statistically is their better side, is not looking too good either. They did get shut down multiple times by AVEZ, who have an amazing defense on their CT side. Finally, we see a decent CT defense squad coming in today. And it is going to be JR versus Marcos on that op duel. It's going to be that long range engagement, but is anyone even going to peek into the op? And Nora playing close range and might catch out Jalem, but never mind. Jalem finds him first, gets the shot in. There's going to be the flash so he can push through the smoke. Gets himself a double onto K. Will get taken down by Bialy in return, though, but a lot of damage has been dealt. And towards B, Kyler actually gets rid of Problem, who thought he could creep into that B site. It is going to be another flank coming in towards B, but Kyler again holds the line. Kalinka towards Ivy is going to go for the peak. In the meantime, Marcos does get distracted, and it's all on Bialy and Kyler to try and get round 14 on the board, or is HELLRAISERS going to turn this one around? Kalinka moving towards that connector area, but they both are going to double down and move towards CT on the side of AVEZ instead of playing the connector.
This could be the right call. It could be a nightmare. It's all about the timing on this bomb plant. Because of how deep in connector Kalinka is, he is so far away from being able to defend JR going for the plant at the moment. These players are so close. He's trying to get the flank, but they've spotted JR going into connector now, and it's all on Kalinka in the 1 versus 2. He's looking for the lineup on the diffuser, and he's found it, but that obviously is going to give his position away. Bialy peeks out. HE goes down to drop Bialy to 93, but he's tapped that bomb. The second sound cue garnered. Kalinka strafing out, but it's Bialy who wins the fight. 14 secured by AVEZ. They need 2 more rounds on the map of Train to secure a spot in the semi-finals, and they have plenty of cash to buy with.
I mean, there was still a long time to go, but the moment that he ticks the bomb and then shoots at you, you should just stay hidden. There's no reason at all to go for the repeat once you know he's not on the bomb anymore. You just play the time. He gets anxious, makes a mistake. He, for instance, looks down to the bomb to try and get the tap in. You peek, then you shut him down. But this was just trying to go for the straight duel. And Bialy, he does shut down that player. And AVEZ 14-8. They have to force up in these last couple of rounds every single time now. HELLRAISERS, this is do or die elimination match, of course. And they really do want to make it to the semis to face up against, I think, who was the one that won earlier to Fours.
Yeah.
It would be their next opponents. And Fours, I can tell you, is not a team to take lightly, especially not with their ecstasy power star opper, which is going to be problematic for both HELLRAISERS' op and AVEZ's opper.
They're looking to advance into the bomb site, but Bialy aggressively has found the opening kill. That is absolutely huge to find. If he can retreat safely, that is beautiful now. As Kai follows it up onto Problem, Marcos takes down Flaric, and it all goes wrong for HELLRAISERS. Kalinka trying to come out of the Ivy position is ripped to pieces by Marcos, and now the most limited buy HELLRAISERS could possibly bring into what could be the last round of this series. They're going to have to work with Galils, Deagles, Tech 9s, and whatever they can get on the board utility-wise.
Yeah, it is absolutely a crucial round for HELLRAISERS. One of the things that actually has spot my eye is that finally we have a really aggressive opping map. and one of the biggest opping maps out there. And Marcos is top fragging on the board. He's finally woken up when he needs to on the map that is most important, but they're trying to rush the site. They do manage to get a 1-4 trade. Player in heaven. Kai does get the kill. Narod frags in as well, and it's all on Flare Jump. Problem, can they get anything done? Kai just gets himself a quick triple in the last round to secure his team going to the semis. And HELLRAISERS get eliminated. Pretty much nothing done on their T side whatsoever.